if the sound's working.
Hang on, let me tune up volume.
If it's not working on your phone, then there's something else
is going on. All right, we're going to try this again.
I lean this forward a bit, right? Because then I can go... Sorry.
I don't think so, because then it'll tip over.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's a bit better. Quite so.
We'll try it. Let's see.
Going in to see if it worked.
I am. See if we have sound this time round.
It's clear looking. It's way clearer than the...
Yeah, you watch. Now we're going to have like this amazing thingy here. All right, let's see if there's sound. There's sound. Now I got to turn off my other sound. Yay! Okay, so you can start now. I'm here. Going Green Mom, thank you. Third time is lucky. So we're on my cell phone. I've never done this on my cell phone, and we're going through YouTube instead of StreamYard. So
yeah, long story short, we went into StreamYard, everything was fine, and then the mic wasn't working, so then we switched computers, and it still wasn't working on the other computer. So, and it wouldn't work on YouTube or StreamYard. So
frustrating, and it's so hot, and we can't have any fans on because it's so noisy and loud, and we don't have air conditioning. So we're getting more and more flustered, and it's not working. But we're here now. Yay!
Technology.
Yes.
The joys of technology.
I'm going to make a suggestion for you. Close that and call it up on your YouTube behind so that you can see the chat in bigger, because I didn't think about it, but the chat is so... No, just go to your... Just change it.
I can do that.
Just make it YouTube, and you can log into it as long as your thing's muted. Sorry, we're figuring out technical stuff. Just go www.youtube.
Okay.
There you go. See, it's so small. The writing on my phone is so small, so we got to get it up on the...
It's been wonky for a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, if YouTube works better, I don't need to use StreamYard. But, yeah, so go into there. Make sure you're muted, though.
All this stuff.
We will get it all ironed out. Give us like 2 minutes. Maybe not even 2 minutes. I don't know.
To be honest, I think...
Oh my gosh, the picture is so much better on my phone.
Yeah, your phone's better.
Holy cow.
So...
We've never looked so clear.
Take 3. So thank you, everybody, for...
sticking with us.
Not really sure what was going on there, but...
Oh, technology is great when it actually works, but oh my gosh, we hate... technology at times. I tell you what.
Me more than you, potentially.
Look at how... they're going to be able to see all the dirt on my walls. This is too clear on my phone. We're never doing this again.
I was going to say, we're always going to do this from now on. It's always going to be on your phone.
Yeah, the camera is way better on my phone. So anyways, 1,000 subscribers. Yay! We're so excited.
Yes. And after all the delay, which took like 27 minutes... How's everybody doing?
Yes.
Hopefully good. I don't know what the weather's like in everybody else's
neck of the woods.
Yeah, but here it was 31 degrees Celsius today, and that was like actual 31 degrees Celsius. So
yeah.
Pretty warm.
And it was muggy. We'd had lots of rain overnight and yesterday, and yeah, it was sticky this morning. All day was sticky. But that's okay, because the plants are loving it. It's like we live in a tropical paradise. It is. They think it's a tropical paradise.
The plants have really started to grow pretty quick. 50s today. That doesn't sound too bad, because I'm terrible at the conversion. Right?
Mid-50s, that would be what? 18? Maybe? I want to say 18-ish. Which is actually really nice.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty nice.
I could really happily coast between 16 and 22 for 8 months of the year, and then give me the cold snap. That would be me. I'm not a huge summer person, but then I also know that we need it for plants and things like that. So, you know, things to grow. Hey, honey badgers, how you doing?
Hopefully
hope well.
Good. Yeah, it sounds Going Green Mom's hot and muggy. So you're very similar to us then. And
oh yeah, we can't put people's I don't know how to put people's comments up.
No, when you're in.
Well, you're on my phone. You can't do it.
Dude, does it touch? If you touch them?
Nope. That we don't want to report them.
No. Don't know how to do that.
We won't be putting up any comments. Sorry,
roughly
we're not
13.
sure how
Actually,
to do it.
13 would be really nice. That's we haven't been 13 in a while.
You can't on YouTube. Going Green said.
Yeah.
That's all right, but we're here at least. So
The fancy stuff doesn't really matter.
no. I wonder if you can do StreamYard through the phone. But then if StreamYard's been acting up lately, it might not be worth trying.
Meh, I'm not going to worry about it anymore. We're on. That's all
Yes.
that matters.
But yes, so crazy weather. It's and not crazy compared to like BC and stuff.
No.
They've had
no.
really crazy weather.
Well, I think everybody gets a little bit different weather than they used to.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that today and saying it's
10 degrees isn't too bad for Australia. I
yeah.
can't remember which like rough part of Australia you're in. Should know that, but I can't remember. But I do agree with you. It's well, we're kind of funny because where we live now, we actually have the internet's not usually the problem. We actually have decent internet. It's just always the hardware stuff or software.
You have to remember my camera's there.
Well, I'm kind of looking at both. I'm looking at because I've got this. It's all in front of us.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Sean, you said that you've used the StreamYard through the phone. It worked pretty good. I might have to try that because the camera's a lot better.
And we can block people now.
Hey, Urban Girl Gardening. And I guess I should say hi, Indiana Backyard Gardener, as well, because
thanks for coming back in.
We did say hi, but she couldn't hear it in the last one. So, yes. Oh, she's in Victoria.
Okay. Well, that's a nice part of, not that I've been to Australia, but from what I know of it, that's a nice part of Australia.
Huh.
Yeah, has the weather been kind of crazy out east, honey badgers? We haven't really been, I don't know, we're always in our bubble, except I had to drive for work today, so I was actually listening to the radio.
Yes, but...
Got to doing some interesting thinking about things.
Yeah.
So we think we only need about, was it 52-ish?
52-ish.
That's us kind of back calculating because it tells you like what we needed based on yesterday's hours.
Yeah, based on from midnight last night. So
we think that's about what it is. So really, really close, which is pretty cool.
We had to. It was interesting to see actually because we didn't really pay attention to it a lot, but it was interesting to see that the short stuff was not counted in the YouTube hours.
Well, we did. I think
we
did
had
know
an
that
idea of that.
when
Somebody had mentioned it, but we didn't clue in really to that because none of ours had really hit the shelf and gone wild, so we didn't think anything of it. But
the one did.
Yeah,
kind of.
The one video did get a little bit, and yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. We were checking the monetization tab to see what it says. So it's there's that little bit off, but we didn't do a lot of shorts, so it really wasn't.
It didn't affect it. Yeah, like what my app and phone actually say is about 15 hours different from what YouTube's monetization button says.
Because we had one short hit the short shelf.
It'll either be tomorrow or the next day. It'll be there. So, and then who knows? We don't know the process after that. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
All new stuff.
Yes, it's like trying to figure out getting some stickers made and things like that because we want to do all that sort of stuff.
It'd be a fun thing to do.
Yeah, and do some giveaway things and stuff like that. We got to get organized on that. But heck, we're having trouble getting a live going. So.
Somebody, well, not to make our moderators work, but somebody should share out Urban Girl's channel, just because she's needs 2,000 hours, so.
Oh yeah.
Anybody can share
I can
it,
do
whatever.
that. Hang on.
You can do that too.
I can do that.
Hello, Vineyard Chicks. Yeah, we kind of go back and forth between, well, you use the app stuff a lot, and I use the computer stuff more, and they're always, you can do different things with each one of them, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, there's definitely
6 hours on live stream. I think we just have to get some more people in here. 6 hours. I don't know if you can handle listening to Chris and I for 6 hours. But we were so
Depends.
pleased. We were so pleased that it all came together so close together. Like really, we only got the 1,000 subscribers last week.
Or the week before.
We didn't have them for our live 2 weeks ago. So give or take a little bit, 7 or 8 days ago, I guess. And then now we're coming up to almost having it. So it's nice to have both at about the same time. Sorry, I'm just getting Urban Girls thing here. Oh, it kicked me. I didn't open it in a new tab. That was dumb.
Oh.
Anyways, technology, like we were saying.
We're having a technological moment right tonight, I think.
Oh.
So be glad that we even got it to work.
Yes. Okay, here we go.
Oh, that's too funny. Both of them. Oh, that's interesting that you can actually use the phone for all that stuff. I've never done that. We usually do it the old school way. Because when we upload videos, we just do it overnight when no kids, we're not using it for work. And then it just does its thing and come morning it's there and we do the other stuff after.
But hopefully that worked.
That's kind of our little, what do you call that? Routine to just keep it simple.
Oh, the putting...
Yeah. Because otherwise, if we end up having to do them the day or whatever, then it competes with our internet.
Oh,
our internet's
we better
good,
share Sean Alaska's as well. Sorry, yes. I'm reading ahead. He only has 950 more hours to go. We will definitely get
awesome.
A playlist running tonight after this for you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You're on the side with the computer.
I know. I'm going to open it in a new tab this time, though. I'm going to be smart. I know we don't have a lot of people in here, but some people may not have been following other people's channels, and it's always great to be supportive. Better tech issues than livestock or garden issues. Yes.
Well, that's true.
Yes.
The tech stuff somewhat doesn't really matter, I guess. But
and in today's day and age, we all have so many different tech that, it's like we couldn't get the sound on one computer, so we tried a different laptop. And that didn't work. We played around a little bit, and then I decided I'd use my phone. And you also have a phone, so we could have figured it out eventually. Mm-hmm. But we're not sure the whole reason. It's got to be something to do with StreamYard, though, because both our laptops would not do the sound at all. So I'm not sure what that was about.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because one of them should have done it. But
yeah.
Oh, well. Worry about that later.
But going back, congrats, Sean, on the 1,000 subscribers. That's awesome.
Yes. Oh, that's not good, honey badgers. That's what tends to happen, though. Like everything happens all at once. all the bad things always happen in groups. Or some people say it's like bad things always happen in threes. Don't know how true that really is, but it sometimes does seem like that's what happens. No, I definitely agree with that, Indiana Backyard Gardener. Sorry, I look like I'm looking off into space, but I'm actually reading the chat off to the side. Hello, Chris's Clever Craft.
Yes, and sorry,
trying to keep
Katie Lake. And yes, awesome news on the Caraganas. I am excited for those seeds, so don't forget about us. I have some trees that need to come down, and I'll put them up as a hedge. Mm-hmm. I think it'll look fantastic.
Oh yeah, well they're nice to have around, even if they are a little bit capable of spreading. I've never really seen them spread like mad anywhere, but
not you. Well, the one that we had was like.
Well, that's good that they sent you an email about that, Going Green Mom. That's I mean, we're little, but we've been noticing that YouTube's sent more stuff. They're asking more about, like they do the, where they ask you questions.
Oh,
and they want
yeah,
feedback.
they want surveys. Do surveys and get feedback from you.
Which is good.
Stuff.
I think it's good, anyways.
Mercury's heading.
Thank you, Kathy. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's the one thing I find, like, we're just talking about like equipment, like YouTube type stuff, cameras, computers, whatever, but it really just kind of
anything.
Oh, the more the more machines you need, the worse it seems to get. I know lots of people don't look at it that way, but you have to be really, really capable to be reliant on a lot of machines. Technology is great, but it has the limitations of it can't fix itself. So somebody has to fix it.
Do you have premium? They have been doing that for months.
Thank you, Chris's Clever Craft. We just hit the 1K
Last week.
or possibly the end of the week before. It was around the 24th, right? It was right around, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So maybe it
because
was
then
the
it
week
took
before.
a week to get our community tab, which we got this week. So yeah, you're right. I don't say that often.
I don't think we have the premium.
No.
I think we just have the
No.
normal.
I don't know if there's any perks really to the premium.
Don't know. That's definitely a good point about the Caraganas, because that's something we found. Everything likes them. When we had the ducks, they used to eat them. They used to eat the seeds. The chickens eat the seeds. Everything loves the flowers. And yeah, the goats and the sheep would just devour it. So it's like, it's kind of one of those ones you don't hear about as much, but it's like a good sort of permaculture type
food source
plant.
Yes.
As long as you can control it a bit.
Thanks, Homestead Aquarius.
Yes, thank
Much
you.
appreciated. Thank you for coming in too.
Thank you, everybody,
Hope you're
for
well.
coming in.
Yes. We after some technical difficulties now we can relax and enjoy the conversation. Land's Promised Land Ranch. Hello.
Yeah, we are into rabbits. We've been discussing rabbits a bit lately because
Yeah, sure, you look to me to direct this conversation. It's just as we get more and more into some of the bigger animals and the stuff that seems to be easier, the rabbits feel like they're a lot of work. Not that I shy away from work, but you know, when we're trying to kind of cram a lot into a small time, you start sort of picking at what maybe isn't the best use of our time. And so we're kind of on the fence.
It spurred a lot of conversation.
Yeah, no decisions made, of course.
No,
it's conversation about it.
Conversations at the our level, but also they go up to like the bigger picture level.
Yeah.
Of sustainability and all that sort of stuff. So we're probably going to discuss that in the near future, but I'm kind of excited about it.
Okay.
Looking at things in the bigger picture, longer term, what do they call that, multi-generational type way of looking at it, rather than the immediate here and now. But that's getting off topic.
So Homestead Aquarius, when you say about the premium, you don't get the ads, the content creator. So you would still get paid even if, or no, they don't get paid
because because you have to pay for the premium, I think. So then they're taking the ads off, so you don't have to watch them, and then so
okay,
the creators still.
Gotcha. That's kind of interesting.
We're similar, actually, Chris's Clever Craft, about the bee part. Love honey. We all love honey. And it's one of those things, we'd love to have it, but bees are so different from all the other livestock. Like, yes, chickens and cows, for example, are not the same, but they're kind of, I don't know. There is still similarities, but bees are just so different to us. That's why we have not taken the plunge. We might in the future, but yeah. Oh, thank you on the Jurassic Park shirt. Me and my t-shirts.
Yes, he's collecting. Hey, Thorhaven. Everybody's finding us now. We ended up ditching StreamYard and we've gone on a YouTube live, which we've never done before. So we're not able to put up little things and whatever.
Phone instead,
and we're on my cell
it's
phone,
working.
so I don't know.
Both laptops decided they weren't going to.
And we even tried the laptop doing YouTube live, and it didn't work. So
I would have, if it was just one of them, I would have been like, okay, there's something wrong with the laptop. But when they both did it, it was like, I don't know. Computers are ganging up against us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so really, you get paid all the time if someone's on premium, even if.
That's kind of cool.
That's interesting. See, that's why I never bothered with signing up for premium, because I thought I'm doing this to help support channels, and they need us to watch the commercials. So when I run the playlists or things like that, I'm letting all the commercials run to the full extent so that people are getting their paycheck. But it's interesting if premium means that you still get paid, even if that changes the ball game on getting premium.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
That's definitely something we do actually, Katie Lake, is we have bartered honey for other things in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a big way, but we know a few people that actually do bees, and I have one friend that he's been doing it for quite a while, so we might tap into that at some point. We'd like to get other stuff set up. But yeah, that's the other thing. Thorhaven has a good point, because this is for people we know that have done it. The success rate, or actually I should say the failure rate of them surviving the winter, seems to be pretty good.
And that's the part that concerns me, is it's a big investment to then go and not, have them die. If they die, that's a big investment that you then.
And I know there's a whole, like, it's a whole nother world of things you get into on, because you're managing them as a population, and it's just that's the part that it's quite a.
I feel terrible because we're on like things. We are paying attention. It's one of those. I have my computer over on my side, and I'm looking at the chat, and he's looking at the chat, and then there's our phone in the middle, and we're trying to figure it all out. And it's running at a fast speed, and you have to slow it down on one of the other ones. Anyways,
we're into the
just
usual.
Explaining that it's looking weird because we're both looking other directions, but we are paying attention.
We're paying attention. We're not just randomly looking into stuff.
Yeah.
That's interesting, Crucy, about your grandfather, because I've heard of people with that, like they're like that too. The bees get used to them, and they get used to the bees, and they kind of can handle them without all the suits and stuff. But I think that's, you get into more advanced.
Please, everyone, hit thumbs up. Give us some likes on this one. I know Kathy keeps putting it in there. We appreciate it.
And
hey, Homestead DNA, did you say that already?
No, I'm behind. I'm behind. Yeah, I think you're right, Chris's Clever Craft. That's the part when they when it doesn't work, you have the potential to have it go really bad. But we'll have to check this premium out.
Yeah.
Between everybody's been getting us up to speed in the technology. We're always so behind in figuring stuff out.
Katie Lake had piglets last night.
Oh, nice.
Very exciting. There's that one there. 9 piglets. We're so excited. Our girls are less than... Well, we know Ginger is due on the 17th, and we're sure Pepper is going before then. We've been watching her like a hawk. Her belly is just about down on the ground. It's forming, but she hasn't done any sort of nesting actions or anything like that yet. So we still have her out with the others, but we got the stall ready for her, and she can come in the blink of an eye once she's ready to do her deed. Mm-hmm. So cool. Very, very excited for Kuni piglets.
Yep, should be.
They're so very, darn very cute.
Yes, thank you for the information there, Homestead Aquarius, on that. We are definitely going to look into that, because if creators basically do better with it, and you don't have to watch the ads, that's pretty awesome. That's kind of like a win-win scenario, really. And switching back to the bees for a moment, like you say, Thorhaven, there's definitely seems to me, as somebody who's never done it but been around some people that have, it's a bigger upfront investment and quite a learning curve. And then once you figure it out, it's not so bad, but we just haven't got there. Mm-hmm. Someday, maybe. Yeah, exactly. You just have to do what you have to do to make it work. It's kind of, I think that's a pretty good, Indiana Backyard Gardener, I think that's a pretty good motto for everything, really. Really good motto for everything.
Indiana Backyard Gardener, drive safe.
Yes, definitely drive safe.
But thank you for tuning in all the same. We usually do that when it's like the two of us in the car. I'll pop something on as we're driving back from town or whatever. That's one thing I have to say.
Multitask like that.
It's been so nice having lockdown lifted a little bit here to be able to actually go to town and do a little bit of shopping and things like that. It's been really nice. Well, it just feels like a treat. It's really sad when like going to get underwear feels like a treat. You know, I mean, you
That's
could actually
kinda
go
funny.
into a store and buy something.
That's kind of funny. Bland's Promised Land Ranch. Sorry, that's a bit of a tongue twister. I apologize. We have Kuni pigs, and we just have a trio right now, and both of our sows
Are due
are
any
due
day.
very soon, so we're looking forward to that because that's going to be an experience. I used to raise Tamworth pigs, couldn't really make it work economically, let's just put it that way. And then we've raised out feeder pigs before, but we've kind of always looked for something a little more sustainable than that. That kind of goes into what we were talking about with the rabbits, of looking at homesteading. You can look at homesteading, farming, whatever you want to call it, as kind of like, I'm going to say it, the put and take, which I'm going to do a video on that. That kind of you get it, raise it, eat it, and that's great because that benefits you immediately. But then there's bigger ideologies there of longer term benefits to both us as the homesteaders, but also the things that we raise, and that's where it was hard for us to just do the wiener pigs, to put it kind of bluntly.
I'm going to just quickly do a question before we zoom past it here. Going Green Mom, you said there about paying the $5 extra for a family link so you can link up to a certain number of accounts. With the premium, do you get access to some of the stuff on YouTube that is a paid, like you have to pay to watch it? I'm just curious on that because for the first time we actually rented a video online. This is, we're sounding so old-fashioned or something. Anyways, the other day we actually rented a video online. I think I did it through Google, but I did see that you could rent them through YouTube too. And I just wonder if premium has some sort of thing that it's a benefit on that, or is it just the commercial stuff? Because it'd be nice to actually be able to watch an episode all the way through of something, not have to piece together a whole bunch of different thingies for the kids.
And I like the comment about the kids don't see the commercials. So
yes,
and
exactly.
They're not tempted with all the commercialized stuff.
Ours are pretty good.
They're pretty good, but Thorhaven needs new underwear. Time for an underwear shop.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. Oh.
I don't think that should be a video.
No, probably not.
I'm sure there is some out there though.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Katie Lake. We kind of, we have the Icelandic sheep and we have the cows, and with both of those we kind of go, they're great, but they have their moments where they're just not great. Just gonna leave it at that. But the pigs are like, the kunis, especially compared to the bigger breeds of pigs, are just so
enjoyable.
Yeah, like even our boar, he's not small, he's intact, he's the whole bit, but like,
all he ever wants is attention. Now, sometimes he's starting to get his tusks, so we're a little bit cautious. And the only
careful, in case he was...
The only thing with them is the same thing we always tell the kids is just make sure you've got... We always say your legs covered, because then that way he can't accidentally hit... Well, he could, but it's a little bit of protection.
Just being aware of where your legs are in relation to his head. Not that he's aggressive at all. It's like being extra cautious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He just comes over and wants attention, but he's quick to do, like, if he moves his head or something like that. But
he's fast enough. Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of those things. The only thing I ever worry about them really is my toes. I can't go in sandals, that's for sure. You got to have shoes on because they go right for your feet.
Kersey, that's good you found some hay. Do you know if it's first or second cut? Because we were talking about this too, is if it's like a last year's second cut, not that second cut, this is kind of our area, but it tends to not have as much seeds.
Seeds, yeah. We just mulched all our potatoes with our second cut hay left over from last year, and we went through it, and it was really nice, fine, and very little. There's
no seed heads or anything in it, like weeds or otherwise. But
exactly.
The big thing I think with the hay, it all depends on when they do it, right? Because sometimes, first cut's not worth as much nutritionally, and people often don't want it, so sometimes they just are, depending on where you are, they're just cutting it to get it cut so that they get the second cut. And if they cut it too late, then you really
farmer
get the seeds.
Son.
But it can really depend.
Thanks for coming in.
But it'll still work great. You may get some weeds, but
not bad.
They can be managed. At the end of the day,
we got some straw that we mulched our garlic with, and we don't have a lot of ragweed here. It had to have been full of ragweed because everywhere that we mulched with that straw is just ragweed now. I'm pulling ragweed like crazy. Thank goodness the rabbits eat it. But there's
they
so
don't
much
mind it.
ragweed in that straw, which I wouldn't have thought straw would have had that, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that shows that it's not sprayed.
Yeah, that's true. It wouldn't have been sprayed because it's
Yeah.
full of all the weeds.
Yeah. What was above the? Sorry, going. Are you
Which one?
already? I was just. I'm.
Sorry, we're a little behind.
Yeah.
As usual.
So she's not sure on the
rentals
thing.
and stuff.
Anyway, I was just curious if somebody knew that. I mean, it's not that we have to use it for that, but it was the first time I'd ever actually seen that you could rent stuff on
That's
YouTube.
a good point too about the premium. If it's because the ads are using your data, right? If
Yeah.
you're doing it on the phone. That's
Yeah.
another good point.
I saw. You must have skipped past it. Thorhaven said that he was going to do the video.
And Cruci said he's going to turn it inside out. Be like, what is it? The kids' Captain Underpants.
Oh yeah, yeah. We watched
Oh, Nacho.
Nacho Libre with the kids the other night, and yeah, they went around dressed up to be wrestlers.
Yep, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I had fun with that. Oh, you hadn't got there. He said about now I'll do that video. Hey, Brampton Gardner, how you doing?
Yeah, the Kunies are, I would say, definitely worth it. The one thing you do need some, at least in the summer months, you do need some sort of pasture space, but they're really not very hard on it.
No, not at all.
They like to eat all day, but they don't eat a lot.
No, they just kind of go around and nibble. It's actually really nice because we put them out into the pasture that the cows had basically eaten down to nothing. And the pigs were content out there. We were still feeding pellets. We still feed them pellets in the morning, at night, just not as much as we would feed them over the weekend, over the winter. But the pasture's growing back because the pigs just wander around and pick at bits and pieces and mostly sleep. So it's kind of nice as a way to, once a pasture's eaten down, you can still rotate the pigs onto it, and they're quite content, and the pasture grows back, which is nice, I think.
Well, I would say...
Hey, Perma Pastures Farm. Sorry, we're just seeing people. I'm trying, and Homesteading Pasture, and Jane. Hello, everybody.
We're behind as usual.
If we didn't get you, I so apologize. Between using the phone and everything is so small, and then we have to look away from the camera to see the chat on the other stuff. So
we're trying.
Anyways, yes, we're making it work today.
I think you'll be fine, Cruci. I mean, you have it. That's the big thing, right? I would probably use it and just watch if you see weeds.
It doesn't matter if there are weeds. Anyways, it's still mulch. It still provides food back. It just sometimes makes a little bit more work if you've got to pick out weeds after. And a weed is only something where you don't want it.
Well, that's true too.
Yes. Like we've got some oats and things growing from the chicken feed and millet, which would be a weed per se, but we're going to let it go because once it goes to seed, we can feed it back to the chickens. So,
well, there's a bunch of weeds like the, I can never think of the name of it. It's not the green amaranth. It's the... Hey,
Cliffside, how you doing?
There's some weeds that are edible too, right? Well, the purslane is a great example.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't want it somewhere, rip it out, or you can make it into stuff. And I can't think of the name of the other one. It's a super common thing. But
sorry, don't go past James.
What?
She wanted to know what should we be starting for planting right now.
Oh.
So we are in the process. Well, we still have stuff to plant that we're kind of working on that was supposed to be in before, but we've got a couple more rounds of lettuce started, which probably, give or take, isn't really going to be for fall. It's just for succession planting. But I just filmed a garden tour video, which will be going on for tomorrow, and I talked about the tomatoes because our subarctic plenty tomatoes and our Scotia tomatoes are blossoming out, or even some of them are starting to develop fruit. And I said, I got to get my tomatoes for fall planted in the greenhouse, or if you're starting them inside or whatever you want to do, because that'll be timed perfectly for going out in, say, August, beginning of August, when we usually start them inside, give them a couple weeks in their little pots, and then they go out, and then they'll be a nice tomato harvest for later in the year.
The other thing would be if you're starting some of the some of your brassicas, like you could start them sometime in
kohlrabi,
July. Yeah,
right.
Broccoli,
Brampton
kohlrabi.
Gardner, hashtag kohlrabi review. I included the kohlrabi in my garden tour because I don't know if I'm super impressed with it. But anyways, I included it in there, and I'm eager to taste test it to see if it's worth it.
It's actually growing pretty nicely, which is...
I'm on the fence on whether it's growing nicely, but...
Well...
It's in my
I
video.
thought it looked okay.
You can watch my video to see how it looks.
I haven't seen your garden tour, so I wasn't here today. So.
No, you weren't here today. She said we're up to 17 people, so we only need to go live for 4 hours now to make up our hour time. You know, it was kind of one of those things. We're so glad that it did work out to be pretty even, because we wanted to not have to do the, you know...
It was kind of, we never really talked about it much up until kind of the end.
No, it was just like, okay, we could actually do it in a few days if we actually get, you know, wrestling up people to watch. Reach. So, yeah, we started kind of saying, please watch, please watch. You trying to go back? This thing keeps going, so we're so far behind. So anyways, I'm not sure if we fully answered that for Jane. I did want to answer it properly. So right now we would be starting, once the greenhouse is fully emptied of what's left in there, tomatoes, another round of broccoli. We're going to start cabbage because I want to start it earlier this year, because last year I was too late and it only went to seed. It never developed.
Well, we might
heads.
actually get seed out of our cabbage.
That's true. Kale, we always start kale for the fall. Big kale, because if you've got a tunnel cover, that will last you for ages. And we want to plant some carrots for fall time. So those are the big main ones for us. Our carrots, not so great. But those are the main ones for fall, and then we still have some succession stuff that we're working in there to keep going with. But I just wanted to make sure we answered that well. I think we did.
I think so.
Okay.
That's what we're thinking anyways.
Yeah. And there's a ton of other stuff you can throw in there too if you're wanting to try other things. But those are for us the main ones. Our potatoes are practically a fall harvest because we only just got them in the ground.
They will be. But they were a little late, but they'll still grow.
Yeah.
And I agree with the conversation that's ongoing about the typos. That's like, especially on a phone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you do it. I can't.
I can't
type really good.
And you know
on
what?
Computer,
my phone, for some, I'm blaming it on the fact that I got it programmed at the Rogers store, and the guy did it with his fingers because it does not match up to what I type at all, and it drives me insane. But I have a feeling it's because it's synced up right away to how he typed, and now my phone's messed up, and I can't bother to figure out how to make... You could probably go back and reset that feature, basically, but I can't be bothered to figure
knowing how to use the technology.
Or reading a manual or something, and I'm not going to do that. Kathy, thank you so much for sharing out links. I wanted to keep doing with that, but I was trying to pay attention to the chat and everything else, and I didn't get to keep going. So thank you so much for sharing out links. And as always, we just always tell people, share links. Any moderators, feel free. We love to help promote other community members and things like that. So autocorrect is just awful thing.
Well, it's got its uses sometimes.
Although sometimes I really like the feature on the phone where it guesses what your word's going to be, and it gives you like 3 or 4 words at the top to choose, because then you just have to hit button. It's kind of, I don't know, it makes it a lot easier.
It's kind of an interesting thing to think that your phone learns how you type.
Thanks for coming in, Homestead Aquarius, Robert.
Yes,
I'm assuming, because that probably means he's heading out. So thank you so much for popping in and sticking with us for a little bit.
I also agree the Asian cabbages are good for, because you like the, what's the one? The bok choy.
No,
we're going to do another on that, but the
crinkly one.
The crinkly cabbage. It's one of those.
It's going to be it's going to come to me.
You can't think of the cabbage, I can't think of the weeds.
I'll lay my head down on the pillow and it'll be like, I'll sit straight up and yell it out. The one that I make the crunchy noodles on top.
I can't think of it. Savoy cabbage.
Savoy cabbage, that's it. Good job.
Yeah. That's a good one because they grow relatively quick.
Yeah. But, Homesteading Pastor, so glad. Thank you so much, Homesteading Pastor. Oh, and you're down to only need 150 hours. That's fantastic.
That's pretty good. It's good.
Well, hopefully Little Garden or Kathy we'll put up your link there, because that would be fantastic, and maybe everybody can try and help you out on that, because we know that feeling, and you're just so close, so close. So definitely want to be supportive on that. So we'll pop on a. Oh, we're buffering.
Uh-oh.
Buffering.
Oh, I think we're back.
No, we're not. Oh, there we go.
We're back. We're back.
I could actually.
As for tomatoes, Jane, the one that we're growing right now is the subarctic plenty, which is only 50 days.
50. Oh darn it! I just said it in my video. It's 58 days, I think.
So it's less than 60 days. So there are other varieties that are short season. The other option you can do, if you can keep them protected from the frost, is like some of the cherry tomatoes and those type of things. They're smaller.
Yeah.
Like they'll give you fruit sooner than sort of the bigger main crop tomatoes.
Yeah, yeah. The subarctic plenty, we put them out the first week of June. Now that's 52 days from transplant. So we had them for about 3 weeks inside first.
You probably don't need that 3 weeks. Just saying.
Yeah.
But.
And so about 52 days from transplant. Like ours are out there right now, and they're covered in fruit. So I just got to get them. Hopefully they'll ripen soon. I'm not sure how many days in I am now. I had thought that they would be ready end of July. So we're probably pretty much on track.
Yeah, probably pretty much there. Yeah, that's actually Brampton Garden, or any of the small, the dwarf types would also be. I've often thought for fun trying, was it the Tiny Tim? Isn't that the really little one? I think it is. I think it's Tiny Tim. Or maybe
you might be right. I'm not 100% sure.
I know there's a couple like really dwarf, just for fun, but haven't actually done it. We've got a lot of tomatoes, and we kind of we do that thing every year where it's like, how many different kinds of tomatoes do we actually need? And I think we have a few more than we need this year.
Well, we did 9 different, which we don't normally do that many different types. So, but
yeah,
we've got all of my paste tomatoes and that are just blossoming. They don't have anything on them yet, really. I took some suckers off, and
that's cool. Cliffside, your own variety of tomato. Keeps producing through all the light frost. That's really cool. Actually.
Wow, yeah. That's the worst bit, is we always try and get a little bit longer out of the tomatoes, and it's just like you're out there running and covering everything, because it's obviously always that threat of frost.
Well, and we find most years lately, you used to get like frost came and that was it, but we tend to get now.
Sorry, excuse me 1 second. I'm going to try and center him a little closer to the thingy, so it doesn't look like we're totally looking off the camera.
I can't go over any further. But,
you don't have to go over. I just then we didn't look weird looking off.
We used to get like frost came and then that was kind of it. But now usually in September we kind of get like a frost, and then it warms up and it's nice for like a month and a half later. So we can usually protect some stuff and keep it going a little longer.
Oh, usually. I thought that was the name of the tomato, Cliffside. It was meant to say tomato. I thought you'd named it that. I was about to say, what's the whole story behind the name?
That's the one thing that's cool about tomatoes. They're easy to save seeds from, but then you can also create new tomatoes relatively easily too.
Yeah. Oh, Brampton Garter's got some Tiny Tims.
Oh, nice.
Tomato, not lemon. Haha.
I was going to say, I kept
We're really having trouble tonight. I don't know. Between us having trouble and then the typing that's going on here. It's one of those like.
Because I was trying to think if it was like, because there is a tomato that's called like a lemon tomato or something, or is it a peach? There's some weird tomatoes, so I was just wondering there, but yeah, that would be cool. I'd give them a try, because it'd be kind of neat to try it. Our munchkin broccoli that we grew this year, I'm not so sold that it's all that dwarf compared to it's pretty big.
I did put that into my garden tour for tomorrow. So the munchkin broccoli is larger than our broccoli that we got before. So
yeah, so I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see how it produces. We're always in the
Mm-hmm.
search for the perfect broccoli, although we might switch to not growing it, pending.
Well, the
If
one
the
thing that is
cauliflower
doing
does better.
terrible, if the lemon cucumbers do better than regular cucumbers, that would be fantastic. And hello, Lady Marin. That's the first time I've seen you come up in the chat, so hopefully we didn't miss you earlier. But hello and thank you for coming in. And getting clean on the prairies. Hello.
That is cool that they self-seed and whatnot too. That's a good name for them, Cliffside.
It's going back to the lemon cucumbers, because our cucumbers are doing horrible. I don't think I'm even going to get anything. I don't think it's even worth restarting the plants.
Well, we'll see.
They're getting eaten alive
and shaded by kale.
Yeah,
The kale is winning the battle.
Yeah, so I don't need relishes and pickles, so I may just skip cucumbers altogether. But because at this point we're so behind, they're just dying.
You have lots of seeds though from last year, and they grew really well that way.
Oh yeah, and we've got lots of plants. It's just they are not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it would be neat to try because I have seen other people grow the Tiny Tims inside with the grow lights over winter. So it would be something we could try. You wanted to do it because they stay quite small, don't they? The fruit on them, they're like a cherry type, I think.
Have fun shredding the squash, Homestead DNA. I'm very curious. What do you do with it when you shred? It's just shredded for storage. I meant to ask you that earlier when you mentioned you were shredding squash. And
we used to shred zucchini.
Well, the zucchini. Oh yeah, I guess so. Would be the same purpose. You're just shredding it to freeze potentially. You have enough pickles for 2 years.
Hello, Joe and Sue. I don't know if we said hi yet. I see you were there.
And Red in the Valley. Hey. We're, yes, I know I keep reiterating and saying this over and over, but we are in technical difficulties. So we've got our phone on one, the chat on a computer, and trying to kind of juggle, making it all work to make sure that we don't miss anybody or miss any chat. So if we miss anything, just ask again. We apologize ahead of time. But we're making it work.
That's one thing about cucumbers, Homestead DNA. Like you say, when they do really well, they do really well.
Yeah.
And then we find you always get some years where they just don't do well.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Last year they didn't do great, but I got enough, and I had so much from the previous year that it wasn't even funny. So.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's another one of those like homesteading, gardening, growing your own food, whatever you want to call it. It's always nice to have a few different things because they never do perfect every single year. There's always little variations.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome that the Scotias are doing really well for you, Jane. We like them. Ours are, we got them in the ground a little bit late, but we got them in the ground.
Yeah, ours don't have fruit yet. We're behind.
We've got to get them in their cages because they're starting to get big enough. They're starting to flop over. So we'll going to do that by the weekend. That's the plan. We
are sadly behind on the Scotia tomatoes, but our other tomatoes all look amazing. It was just one of those things. The Scotias we had planted so many and we wanted them to have their own areas. So they weren't crowded and whatever, because after last year with them going all crazy, I didn't want to crowd them.
Or not too much anyways.
They sat so long in the greenhouse, they got leggy, and of course, blah, 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 excuse. But they are in the ground and they're improving in the ground. But like you say, we do need to get them into cages, and they will just be my late crop. I'm actually not going to plant a second batch of the Scotias because they're so late. I normally would plant a later batch, but I'm not doing it this year. But I am going to do a second batch of the subarctic plenty because they're doing great too. And the cherry tomatoes, obviously. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the cherries, you're only going to do like a couple. They almost always come up anyways.
Yes. So the shredded squash is for freezing. So now I get it. Yes. Yeah,
that's something we did that with some of our squash.
The zucchini and the stuff. Yeah.
Could cube up or shred up. Oh, that's excellent, Red in the Valley. That they're both doing well. I think you'll find they kind of get to that point, and well, if our weather keeps up, I assume you guys are probably getting similar weather to us with the rain and the heat. They will probably grow pretty well.
Mm-hmm. It's our problem here. Well, I just noticed this with the the Kajari melons is bugs. Something's
It's
eating
the
them.
squash beetles again, but
Well,
we need
it's,
to
or
do,
it's the Japanese, because the
No.
Japanese beetles are all over everything
Oh,
out
are
there. Yep.
we need to do more of the garlic spray, but it's rained almost every day, so
So you
we
can't
can't
spray it.
really. You could, but it's just going to get washed off. That's the one downside to the garlic spray.
Yes.
But when you get a few days of no rain, then you can get out and kind of do it. And we have the stuff made up to do it. We just haven't got a chance to actually get it on it. But that's awesome, getting clean in the prairies.
Yes.
The peppers are doing well, and
I think it was the crooked neck squash. Ours are doing. I've got to pull some out. I went a little crazy between the kids and I planting seeds, and we planted way too many in the space, and it's just become a monstrosity already.
You might be okay.
No, you won't. You won't. It is absolute. I videoed it. It's bad. So I am, as much as I hate pulling things out and wasting them, I don't think you could transplant them. They're too big already.
Too big.
So I think we're going to be pulling and thinning crooked neck squash, which is a ridiculous thing to be saying.
Mm. Hello, Bettina.
Hey, Bettina.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
The chickens will definitely eat the Japanese beetles, and when we had ducks, they would eat them too.
Yeah.
I don't know about the squash beetles though. I don't know.
No, but the Japanese beetles, I've seen a lot of people doing videos on that lately, and so I'm
if
thinking
you
I
go
might
out
have
in-
to get
If you go out in the morning with a bucket of water
and just get them
and
in
you
it.
just knock when they're a little bit cold, and you can, if you've got a small enough space, you can knock them into the bucket, and they just can't get out, and then you can feed them to the birds.
Yeah, we have.
You can't do it when it's warm and hot though, because they just fly away.
Our summer squash does not have any fruit developing yet, no flowers, but
It'll come pretty quick, though.
James's squash has squash on it.
Does it?
Yeah, I went and checked. The one plant's pretty much dead, the one that's been crowded in the corner, but the one that's growing in front of the rabbit's hutch has squashes on it already. So it's pretty awesome. So I just need to get in there and clean it out a bit. But
that's the never-ending thing about gardening. There's
the
always
list
something
of
to
stuff,
do.
yeah, there's
but
so much.
it's
And we've
usually fun.
never, ever had a garden like this. I mean,
This is our biggest garden ever.
and of course we keep making more gardens and going bigger because we still have stuff to plant, so we got to find somewhere, and so we keep going, and it's fantastic. But boy, oh boy, I mean, today out there I was just pouring, and I was 4 hours weeding and what do you call that, taking off suckers on tomatoes and tying them up and things, and
it still looks like an angle.
it still looks like I didn't. You can't even see where I worked. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah.
Oh, that's too bad that you had a watermelon plant actually get completely chewed off.
Oh,
It's amazing how quick some of those beetles and stuff can actually work on the plants.
well, I do think that's what they're doing to the cucumbers, because the cucumbers are all broke off under there. So I think they're just eating them completely.
You might be able to transplant some of the smaller ones, like Chris's Clevercraft is saying. I don't know if you're going to be thinning the big ones. You probably can't, but
Unfortunately, they're all big.
well, we can take a look at them.
But
If we think we can, we might. Because like
basically, what
if it
happened
works,
is
great.
the space is 4 feet wide by about 7 feet.
We planted some older ones and some newer, like older seeds from a few years ago, and some newer ones. The newer ones came up real quick, and the older ones came up a little later, but they still came up.
Yeah, we kind of thought, oh, it's okay because half of them didn't come up, so this is great, and then they all did come up. So it ends up that I think in that small 4 foot by 7 foot space, I think there's 33 big crooked neck squash plants. So it's just too much. They won't grow well. So I've got to go in and kind of whip in there and take them out. But that's okay.
Yeah, if you don't have birds or something to feed them to, definitely putting the soap in the bucket,
Yeah,
like
kill 'em.
Cliffside said, is a great idea because, yeah, then they just actually drown. Which is fine if you're trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Japanese beetles are pretty crazy. I've never really tried doing that with the squash beetles. I think they'd be pretty hard because they're pretty small.
Well, and it'd be if you could just trust the chickens to let them in there, because all the plants are big now, but I don't trust them.
Baby chickens are one thing.
Yeah.
But, the Brampton Gardener saying her patty pans don't have much going on. They probably will. They still have a lot of time to to get going.
Well, the one thing that we find with the squash a lot of the time is it seems like it's growing and doing nothing, and then bam, it just starts pumping out the flowers like crazy, and next thing you know, there's a whole bunch of fruit on it. So,
Give the zucchini female flowers. with the zucchinis and the summer squashes, well, with all the squashes, you usually get a lot of male flowers first.
Yeah.
And then you get usually what, like a week or two after you start getting female flowers. You still
Yeah.
get male flowers, but
Yeah.
they seem to put out a lot of male flowers first.
First, for some reason, I think that's just because the plant itself is not ready for fruit yet.
Potentially, yeah.
But usually the male flowers keep coming, so it's not too much. We've never had a real problem with it. But
Not except when we tried to do the hand pollinating one year and we only had a couple plants.
Yeah,
we
that's
had
true.
trouble getting male flowers.
Yeah, when you wanted them, you couldn't get them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the nice part about those early male flowers is you can eat them too, which is kind
Yes.
of nice. We should harvest some because they're not bad.
Yeah, we could do.
Thanks for coming in, homesteading pastor.
Yes. And Red in the Valley said our kittens are stealing the show here.
Oh,
They always do.
They always
They
come
were
up and-
climbing up in the back here.
Yeah,
They're
they're adventuring.
Yeah.
Telling us
We've managed to kick some outside, but we still have some inside.
well,
So
temporarily.
not kicked them out like good riddance. Just they're outside for the evening.
Bettina's saying she has a lot left to plant and needs more space. I think that's got to be like the single, once you really get into gardening, that's like the single biggest problem. I guess it's a problem of you can always, you could always use more space. Let's put it that way. And if you're us, you just build a new garden.
We just keep tilling up space. I mean, we watched your video at your mom's there with the old horse pastures and stuff. You'd have some great spots there. Mm-hmm. Although one thing I will have to say about tilling the horse pasture, it's not pasture, the horse paddock that we decided to turn into garden because they'd killed everything anyways, is it was hard packed. Mm-hmm. It was
So we know we're going to be quite a few years before that's a really good garden.
Yeah, but it was great for potatoes.
Well, potatoes and the squash will be fine, and we've basically planted. We're going to plant some beans. It's things that will do okay in that sort of really new garden. I think if we threw in, I don't know, carrots or something, which we might still do, but
if you hilled them and mulched them, I think they would be fine.
They might be better, yeah. What was your horrible disappointment yesterday? I'm curious now.
Yes.
I was going to say, when you talk about needing
yes, I saw that, Brampton. I was in Guten Yardning's thing, and you won the main prize, but because we're in Canada, we didn't even register our name for it because we couldn't get it. But enjoy the gift card, because that's still pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I did see that. Oh,
I missed.
Yeah, you were
live.
working. You were working, but
yeah.
Yes, I couldn't believe it because he just finished the conversation about about the Canada, some of the Canada viewers, and then your name was drawn right there. It was just like But he must be able to get something similar here, but I don't know. But anyways, that was a really good grand prize. Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Still pretty awesome. You've got luck with you, so
yeah.
That's a sign to.
We had one. I want to close that.
Oh, I'm going to close that because that's smelling like a skunk.
Yeah. We're right at our side window here, and it smells like a skunk. Hoo-wee.
So that could be fun tomorrow.
Yeah, it better not be a cat that's disturbed that. Oh my gosh.
I bet you it is.
I'm going to go shut the other window.
A bit of a sidetrack there when you get the wafting of skunk smell. He's close.
Oh my gosh. Ah!
I bet you it's one of the cats playing.
Disturbed him.
Yeah.
It's going to be Sylvie. No cats are allowed back in if they smell like skunk.
Well, you'll know which one it is.
Anyways, where were we? This is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing out all these channels, Kathy. It is very appreciated.
Well, that's pretty awesome, Chris's Clever Craft, about winning one of Lori's piece of art. Some of her stuff's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was what I was going to say. We'd won on Guten Yardning's giveaway for 1,000 subscribers, wasn't it? We won the seating square, and that was
Which
awesome.
is kind of funny because when he way back when he'd done the video on it for the first time, we were like, oh, that's really cool, and
We want
it'd be a
one.
good thing for the kids to do. And then they were all out of stock at that point, so it kind of was meant to be, I guess.
Yes, exactly. The chicken's smoking a joint. We have we get that wafting in the area every now and then as well, but no, this is definitely
real
skunk. Oof.
But and Creasy says it's not him. He just took a shower. That's something we don't have a lot of them around here. Cattail, not the edible kind. We don't have a lot, but we definitely have a few. But they don't really skunks. They don't really cause any issues.
No, we had the one in the barn there last year,
which wasn't really. Just happened to be going in, but.
Hey, Jules.
Hello. Yeah, take 3. We had technical difficulties.
Yeah, we had no sound on StreamYard. No sound. Then we tried a different scenario. Still no sound.
Tried laptop 1, no sound. Tried laptop 2, no sound. Tried StreamYard. Tried the YouTube
using
stuff,
YouTube directly.
And then went to the phone, and the phone worked. So we're here.
So we went on our phone, and yeah, love it. The picture's awesome, but we can't get anybody's. Hey, Creekside. We can't get anybody's words up on the screen. So, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we. By the time we got in tonight, we missed your live. I think we caught the end, and well, we didn't catch it, but it said there was only 2 people left. I'm like, oh. But by the time we actually got done stuff, but the days are getting shorter, and the garden's mostly planted.
Well, we're kind of. I don't want to even say the dreaded words that we're kind of getting caught up, because you never really get caught up. But I do want to say we're kind of getting caught up. It feels like there may actually be some time coming soon.
That's usually what happens in July. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Brampton Gardener.
Yeah.
And have fun tomorrow.
Wonderland. I don't know if I can handle that. I think I'm too old now.
I'm too old. I don't like roller coasters, but
yeah.
But that's okay.
Oh. But hey, I used to love roller coasters. I used to love going to. I still like water rides and things like that, but I don't really.
Some of them.
I don't know. Like I
went
on.
How extreme they are.
It was funny because was that 2 years ago? I went on the ship thing with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
The ship. It's like a big ship that goes back and forth like that, and it gets higher and higher, and you kind of get this free suspending and then a fall. Anyways, went on that and just about made me sick. And I'm like, how on earth did I used to go on all those crazy rides? But I did somehow.
You always say we're getting old, and we're not that old.
I know, but I think we are. That's okay though. But yeah, maybe we'll get. If Kathy, if you get a chance to share out Creekside Maples channel as well, they're another fellow Canadian channel. If anybody doesn't know of them, I know a lot of people in our chat are.
And thank you for sharing out all the channels that you have been.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Jules agrees on the coasters.
Yeah, it's kind of you either really like them or you don't. It's kind of one that's never in. Nobody ever goes, roller coasters are okay. It's either like I love them or I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things. You wait in line so long. The anticipation is the whole line thing, and then it's like over, and you're just like, I waited how long for that?
I'm like it's like the water park. I'm more the lazy river kind of.
Yeah, sit on a tube and raft along. I'm more of a not going to a water park at all. I'd rather go like to one of the rivers and just tube it. But yeah, I don't know. And now I don't know if our kids will really be into it because we don't go to that stuff.
I don't think either of them really are. They like the idea, but I don't think they actually. Yeah, which is fine. Just put them on a cow. You like a thrill ride?
Here, ride a cow.
Our garden
Chris
actually
Clever
this year is Creekside Maple said their garden's
a huge mess of weeds. That's
ours
us.
is not. Well, no, ours is not as bad as it has been.
That's because I spend hours weeding it.
It's not as bad as it has been.
Because I've been on top of it, but it is hard work.
Not just you. You did the weeding today.
I weed it every day for rabbits.
Must
You help a lot too. Yes, I will say that. But it is kind of one of those things of the weeds are this hot, humid weather is helping them as well. We did smart though with mulching quite a bit this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, another thing we've been finding, so we'll talk about this at some point in the video, but our sugar beets. So we did the normal soaking thing and we planted a bunch in the garden and we kind of got sporadic, like they were starting to sprout, but we got sporadic growth basically. So then we did another planting and we did like half of it. I forget how many seeds we ended up with. We did like half in the ground and half in a seed tray. And the seed tray did so much better. And I think as long as space permits, we're going to go down that line. If we can plant things in the seed trays
to start
them, then you basically prepared whatever area in the garden you're going to put them in. And they're already ahead of the weeds, which seems to make a big difference.
Yeah.
Just a little tidbit of information. I'm going to go back up for a second. Yeah, just do a little at a time. I think Bland's Promised Land, which is what you do. A little bit at a time.
I just pick a section, but it always just feels it's like one of those things.
And there's another section.
Yeah, then you go to the next section. By the time you come back, you're it's just constant because the first section's already, But I'm not going to whine because everything is growing amazing. It's like the kids. Alex walks out into the garden and she's just like, wow, we are going to have so much food. And it is true. I mean, sometimes you need like that kid's perspective to look at it and go, this is impressive. Like, it's very impressive. We've never, ever, ever had a garden like what we have this year.
Well, and we've gotten better. We've always been good at certain things, but not at other things. And like this year, we've actually done really well on lettuce.
Yeah.
Really well on lettuce and spinach and the greens and stuff. We focused more on it to try to make it work, and it's working.
It's working well.
It's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Bettina, about not necessarily liking the crowds either. I'm not a big crowd person. Yeah. I can do without crowds.
I just feel like my life is so short to have to. I have that problem at the grocery store now. After this lockdown with COVID thing, which she doesn't push that fan onto you. After this lockdown thing and not having the crowds, I went grocery shopping. When was that? It wasn't on the weekend. It must have been Friday, maybe. Anyways, doesn't really matter. But they'd gone up to 50% capacity in the stores, and it felt absolutely insane. Like there was people everywhere, and it just wasn't enjoyable at all. So I think, I've become a hermit because of this COVID stuff.
That's good that you did get some beets to come up. We're doing not bad. We've got the sugar beets doing pretty decent, and then we've got the
red beets are doing quite well.
Which is
we
nice.
Make beetroot, like pickled beetroot. Really, because I think what do you do with beets, right? Mm-hmm. Pickled beetroot, very, very good. It's actually not pickle like pickles. It's like a sweet pickling. Mm-hmm. The other thing we do is I just cook them enough to get the skins off, and then I cut them up, and we just freeze them in little bags to then bring out to throw into roasted vegetables and stuff like that, or on a salad.
Yeah, it works really well.
And it works really, really well. But then you are freezing it, so you've got to have the freezer. Where the pickled beets is nice because it's just a can on the shelf.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Crucy, that you dug some of the chives and garlic chives up and kind of moved them around. We need to do that. We have a pretty good patch of normal chives, and I think this fall we need to kind of we split it up. Was that 2 years ago? That's when we moved here. We split them up. We need to do it again. Give them a bit of room.
Yeah,
because they're starting to, how they spread. They're kind of crowding themselves. They're still growing fantastically, but wouldn't hurt to have more. We don't get chiggers here. Bland's Promised Land Ranch, which is kind of nice. We do have ticks. We've got the black leg ticks, which are the deer ticks. and the dog or wood tick, which I don't mind them. I'd rather have them because they're big and you notice them, and they don't carry any diseases. So kind of, I would much rather have them.
Yes, that's excellent news too on for Creekside there. Their cherry trees loaded. That's fantastic.
Oh, that is awesome.
We our choke cherry trees are loaded at the back. We have the little dwarf cherry bushes, and they're too young. They're still not doing anything as far as what is it, year 3 usually? So
3 or 4.
This is their second year now, but they don't have any fruit on them. But they're alive and they're doing all right, so that's good.
You do have a pickled beet recipe.
Yeah.
We should we'll have to dig it up.
I will. You know what? I can't. Because I don't have beets ready, but if I dig it up, I will post it on the community page.
Yeah.
Now that we have a community page, it's so exciting. I absolutely love the community page. I'm not saying I want to take it to going like Facebook or anything like that, but sometimes you just have a little something you want to share and you don't want to do a whole big video about it or something like that. So I think on that side of things, and it's something that is only for your subscribers. At least that's as far as I understand. I don't think it's found by others. So it's like if I want to share my pickled beet recipe with my subscribers only, that's great because it's something special that I can just share on community page, and you have to be subscribed to see it.
Exactly.
At least that, well, I guess you don't have to be subscribed to see it because but I mean, like as far as searches and notices, I don't think when somebody searches something on YouTube, the community posts show up.
I imagine it'd be pretty hard because there's a lot of them. But Sue says she's been hiding from everybody. I wouldn't necessarily mind that myself, to be honest. I kind of agree with Bettina a little bit. It's not necessarily like anxiety of the crowds. It's just, all the other stuff that comes along with it.
It's all the stupid people. Every time we go out, it's like, stupid people.
Well, I shouldn't say that. But, that's awesome that your blueberries are doing well, too. We have a few blueberries on our plants, but we just...
Only the
low bush.
Low bush. The high bush did not... They aborted all their fruit this year. But the low bush
we only actually really got them planted last fall / this spring, so...
I do think it's funny, Jones, what Sue's saying there about Joe bringing home stuff all the time from the clearance, because somebody has been resisting the urge this year, which is very impressive, because usually you're coming home with all sorts of stuff. Although we haven't seen any good clearances. Like, there really hasn't been any when we go places.
Not really, no.
Like,
there hasn't been much period left over.
That's true. Everything's pretty picked over.
Yeah, our plum trees, we had 2 toka plums.
Toka plums, yeah.
And they were big enough that they could have had fruit, and they were loaded.
Hi from the Ashes Off-Grid Homestead. Welcome to the chat.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in. But they were loaded with flowers, but the apples didn't get hit with a frost, but the plums did, because they were flowered out before the apples. So, which is okay because they're big enough, but they could have used a year or 2 extra.
On a positive note, because you're talking about the apple trees, I ventured further back on the property because we kind of had earlier done a video about the fact that there was no apples. They just seemed to have aborted their fruit and leaves were shriveling. And we ended up kind of thinking we weren't going to get very much. And then going to the back of the property, I went for a little bit of a venture, and there is plenty of fruit back there.
They're just different trees.
It's interesting because we're going to have to go through the whole process again of trying them and seeing which ones we like and which ones are worth it and which ones are good for juice. Because most of the trees that we marked from last year have nothing. And it's all new trees this year that have stuff. So I suppose that's how it works. And it's nice to have trees that they're not opposites, but there's obviously factors that affect those other trees and didn't affect them this year. So it seems like we'll always have a steady supply at least.
They usually don't massively produce every year, but we do use the beet greens. It depends. Like if we don't pick from them too much because we're trying to get the root, but we do eat them.
I mix them in salad on occasion.
Yeah, it just kind of depends.
Or if I'm thinning them out, we eat the greens. Like when I'm thinning. But once they get too big, then I end up just the rabbits eat them.
Well, that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
It's like when we harvested the sugar beets, they had already been frosted, and They weren't bad shape, but they weren't fantastic. I'm not sure how good they would have
Do you have a
been.
pen?
Uh,
Here?
oh boy, I don't know if I do. I should. I don't
Oh,
see
there it
one.
is. There's
You
one.
found one.
Yeah, I just want to write down so
Handy
that
dandy
I
pen.
just want to write down so that I don't forget about. It doesn't work.
Oh.
Anyways, I don't want to forget about doing. Don't let me forget about doing the
Beets?
beats.
I won't let you forget.
Okay,
I think we're behind again.
that's all right.
Then it jumps ahead.
How does Blueberries Ranch up by Pembroke Headland?
Well, that's awesome that you did manage to get some, though.
Yeah. What was the sorry? Because what did she say about yes, Steph? Great people. What was I talking about? Anyways, doesn't matter. I'm not sure. I got lost. I forgot what I was talking about, and I was looking at Bettina's comment there and going, "What was I talking about?"
It's hard to say, Cliffside. Like I don't know how many of the apples were actually planted, or I think a lot of them just came.
Well, like we guessed that they came from the horses. She fed apples to the horses, and the horses have spread them around. I mean, we even commented as we were tilling our new garden in the old horse paddock. There's apple trees growing, so the horses have to have brought them because they weren't there.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah.
I guarantee they did.
So, anyways, there's tons of them growing in the pasture that they're in now, and they weren't there a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
that is quite expensive for the blueberries, but if they're 3 to 5 years old, then that does make sense. So they'd be a lot larger. I think the ones that we planted, most of what we actually got, they were like just little whips. So the fact that they're as big as they are now, and they haven't been looked after very well between then and now is actually not too bad.
Yeah.
But
Creekside's apples are doing well. That's awesome. I do think that the apples will become our fruit staple. I mean, we made so much applesauce and things like that last year, and apple liqueur because that's our staple booze drink. But it is kind of one of those things that we're glad that there's
a lot of uses for this many apples.
I mean, and we're lucky this property had so many apples. So yeah, it's a good one.
Well, that's cool that you saw a loom for sale. You don't see those very often, but we've got to repair yours a little bit. The cats disconnected some pieces.
They didn't break it. They just some ropes got disconnected, but they did ruin the piece that I was working on. But in all fairness, it had been on there for how many years, and I hadn't finished it. I do have to. Bridget does absolutely beautiful work. She has some amazing.
Good night, Creekside. Thank you for coming in, because I know it's quite late there. So
yes, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. And hopefully you have a great rest of the week.
Mm-hmm. What size of loom was it, Bettina? Do you remember? I'd like to get. I have what's mine? It's a 22-inch loom. So it's a really nice one for making like placemats or scarves. You could do a small runner rug. It'd be really small though. But I would like to get. I used to work at the weaving studio that I learned some weaving. I used to work on a 42-inch, and it was really nice because you could make beautiful, throw rugs or throw blankets and that sort of stuff, which is really nice.
Well, that's good that they've got a pretty good amount of fruit coming on them. I like the blueberries. You're not a big fan, but they're okay.
I'll cook them into stuff. I just don't like to just eat blueberries.
But we've got big plans for strawberries.
Yes,
because our strawberries have been doing really well this year.
They've tapered now, but we had an amazing late spring into early summer. Like more strawberries than we've ever picked from our own, and we only have a small patch right now. So
very small.
Of course that's led us to thoughts of expansion.
That would be more garden space. Different kind of garden space.
Yeah, so we're watch this space,
I think you will like the I always say it wrong, Kajari melons.
Yes.
Is it right?
Yeah, Kajari.
I think if you like melons, you'll like them. They're good. I think so anyways.
Yes. The Kajaris are they're really sweet. They're like it's like eating some fresh fruit from the south.
Yeah.
Like they were kind of like you know, when you get peaches in the store and they're not like they're, and then you go down to Georgia and you actually eat a peach fresh from the tree and it's just like, oh my gosh, that was the Kajari melons for me from a perspective of a melon.
Yeah.
It was like juice everywhere and just a mess, but it was so delicious.
But it was good.
Yeah.
I wonder if the plum trees you've got, Cruci, are one of the wild ones. Either it could be Canada plum, because if they're only getting to about 7 feet, that sounds similar to them because they're not as big. It's hard to say though. They could be something else. Like there is what's the ones you like?
I like the early golden, but that's a big tree.
Yeah, they're a big tree. So I would wonder.
Are they? Or no, he doesn't know what the fruit's gonna look like. I missed that part. Sorry.
Oh, you just said they look more like a large bush than a tree. So I do wonder if that might be.
Yeah, if they're. I wonder if they're the smaller, little like the red. You know, the small little red plums, like what we use for canning.
Like the Canada plum.
It's
little. It's drier than the one too, but. Yeah.
They work really nice for canning and jams and stuff like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any. We've tried to find. Well, there's the one tree in our pit.
It's a plum.
It's a plum tree, but it's so shaded by all the maples and that it so far has not produced fruit. It's a big tree though. It's like 10 feet tall.
I'm planning to release it. I'm going to probably cut down. There's a Manitoba maple that really shades it out, so I'll probably cut it down this winter for.
But we're really hoping that it will be a nice
see if
plum
that
tree.
Releases it a bit to get a bit more light. It's on the north side of the slope too, which is kind of weird. But
yeah, but it's got a lot of fertilizer now.
Well, yeah.
It's in our Hickorycroft bed.
Well, beside it.
Yeah.
That's definitely what Joe and Sue were saying about planting fruit trees. It's definitely the thing, right? Like you feel like you need to get them in right at the beginning, but it's not always as simple as just I don't know, doing
getting
that.
them in?
Sometimes because it's such a short period of time, and depending on how many you're going to plant too, it's not exactly a cheap thing.
Yeah, it's an investment, and you want to make sure you're putting them where, because 2
Once
years
you put them
later,
there,
you
you
can't
don't
really
wanna
dig
move
them up
them.
and move them and without, you know. I mean, we've made some silly mistakes with planting stuff, and they've died, and that's money gone.
Mm.
But we keep soldiering on. I operate on the survival of the fittest. I mean, we plant it and leave it, and hopefully it stays, because then you know it's a good hardy plant.
A little bit of care.
A little bit, but for the most part, I mean, look, we like plants. This is our little secret. This is in my garden tour video coming up tomorrow, but it is our test for plants is to see if they can make it. The cats are causing trouble. See if they can make it for at least a minimum of a couple months in a black tote. If they can survive in a black tote with very little care, then that's our kind of plant.
That's disclaimer. That's not a real test.
Because we still have plants all in the black totes, and I videoed that for our tour. Dark purple skinny says.
It does sound a little bit like Canada plum, but it could be something else too. It's kind of one of those you never
Homestead
really know.
DNA thinks too, same thing, wild plum. So
yeah,
I think that's all isn't wild plums are still something that was originally a plum that just is like how apples are.
No.
Oh, they are actually.
There's different kinds of plums, because there's in our area there is Canada plum, and there's also American plum, which are both native North American plums. But then there's European plums and there's Asian plums, which I don't know the exact species of at the moment off the top of my head, but they're different. So, but apples are similar too, because there is actually, like in our area, we do not have the native wild apple or wild crab apple, which I can't think of the scientific name of right now, but there is a North American wild apple, but it's different. Different leaves, and the fruit, although you can still recognize it's an apple, it's not the same. Yeah.
I agree with what they were saying there about the place to live there, Sue, was probably essential.
Definitely the good first
once
priority.
That's, you get that sorted, and then it's on to fruit trees. So it definitely makes sense to work in that order. The nice thing is they're developing more and more fruit trees that are producing fruit a lot quicker. You want to dive into it, but it's like even our little cherry bushes, they're going to produce a lot more, a lot quicker than a cherry tree is going to produce.
Well, it's always a catch-22 as well, right? Because sometimes they require a bit more care.
Yeah, that's true.
Depending on what it is. The cherries we have don't, but yeah, that's the thing. When you've got lots of land, like Red in the Valley saying, it's where to put it. That's always the
well, and the one thing that we've kind of always in our choice of where we put things, we've always kind of operated on things that need to be checked on a more regular basis. We try and keep them on the paths that we're walking, places close around the house, or kind of on the back on route to. It's like we walk right past the food forest, and we've got on every day we walk down the channel 2 or 3 times or 4 times or 8 times. And, we're walking past a couple trees, and we've got a few other spots that are along the edge of the paddocks up front here where we want to plant a few more fruit trees that you're seeing them constantly. So it's kind of one of those, nothing gets past you. This is my biggest concern with putting our big raspberry patch at the end of the driveway.
When you're not driving.
Because we never go anywhere anymore. It's like going to get the mail. The mailbox gets so full because I never go get the mail. Because the kids aren't in school, so I'm not down at the end of the lane. So
we should be getting the mail.
I know.
In which case it wouldn't be a problem.
It's just one of those you don't. But hopefully they won't get neglected, because that was one of the things we were kind of concerned with putting them down there, is they are out of sight, out of mind. And if they need water or things like that, you've got to actually go down and make sure that they have what they need. And same thing for picking the fruit. I mean, you could miss it if you're not going down and checking regularly. So
it's a big enough patch. It's easy enough to remember,
but it is out of sight, out of mind.
Chris's clever craft on the tree part. From how you're describing it, I'm going to say it's probably dead, but at the same time, it couldn't hurt to leave it a little bit longer, because you don't. If it's just looks like it's died this year, it could come back. We've
had that. Your
I've
cherries
seen both happen, but it does sound a bit like it greened up and then may have perished. Yeah, that's what it sounds like, but at the same time, if you don't need to remove it, you can always give it a little bit of time and see what happens. You could get a new.
It could just be in survival mode.
Depends too if it's grafted or not, right? Because you might get something. The grafted part could have died, and you could still get something grow from below the graft. That's another thing to consider, but I don't know. It's worth giving them the benefit of the doubt to see what happens. But if it doesn't come back next year, I would imagine it's probably toast. Just guessing from how you've described it.
Yeah.
The plums. They definitely they wouldn't make the trip right now, Crucy. They'd have to wait until they were dormant. But I don't think we have any Canada plum anywhere on the property.
No, like you said, there's just that one plum in the one thingy, which we don't really know what it is. But as a gesture later, when it is dormant, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. So, the horseradish is all. We ended up actually planting, Crucy, the horseradish that you sent us. We planted it right outside the back door in one of our raised beds, along with some rhubarb that we planted, which is actually coming up.
Oh, good.
And that way we could kind of monitor it and keep a better eye on it, because we wanted to make sure it stayed watered all summer. So plan is to let it kind of grow there for a few years and get really good and thick, and then we will
move some elsewhere. You'll still have that patch.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So
it'll do well.
Yeah.
It came in really good shape.
I think so. Yeah, it was good. Hopefully it doesn't get too eaten by, I don't know if Japanese beetles or anything like that does anything eat horseradish?
There's butterflies that do.
Okay.
But it's in the brassica
mustard
type family.
I need to plug in my phone. I can do that. I can do that though.
I was gonna say that might be the. We're coming up on 11. We might go till 11 and then.
Yeah, my phone just beeped at me that it was down to 15%. So.
Hello, MB. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, so sorry. Bettina said a Leclerc 45-inch in good working order. Wow, that sounds awesome. Mine is a Leclerc as well. So.
Also, that's a good one.
She sent me the thingy on Messenger, so I will definitely have to take a look at it and see where it was. Because I would like to. I know. Like I need another thing that I have to find a spot for right now, but because we've made the ultimate decision to keep the sheep and keep going with the fleece, I want to have a bigger loom that I can make full size like blankets with and things. Because when you're using the loom, you can do it as a double round. So with a 45, you're basically working on 40 inches. So you could do a blanket 80 inches wide. Not saying I'm going to, but you could.
Yeah.
I have high hopes of having so much time, but maybe one day I will have the money to be able to get all my fleece processed, and then all I'll have to do is make it into something instead of having to do all the processing part. Maybe. It could happen.
Yeah, eventually. We need the cats to stop being kittens.
Yes, well,
not play on everything, but that's a whole different thing.
But
that's a good point about testing the twigs, actually, if they're still bendy or if they're brittle and crispy, because that's if it breaks apart like a dry old twig, then it's pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Or at least the upper part is. That's the thing too. It could be it's hard to say when you've got grafts, but because sometimes the graft does die and the rootstock stays alive. It does happen. But I definitely, Joan, too. That's a good point about if you've got deer coming right into the yard. Depending on what it is, you want to put them somewhere that you can prevent them from chewing on them when they're young. Usually, once they get bigger, it's not so bad. But when they're little, they can do a lot of damage. Same with goats and sheep and cows, apparently.
Oh, our cows will just...
Our cows eat trees, no problem. But,
yes. Although pleasantly surprised they did not eat the raspberries.
No, that's true.
Because I've been eating the raspberries out in the cow pen. Because they have not eaten them, so...
I don't find too much does eat the horseradish. Occasionally we'll see little bits out of it, and I don't know whether it's flea beetles or if there is another caterpillar that will eat them. It makes sense, right? Everything in that brassica family, there's usually something that eats it, but a lot fewer pests than some plants.
Our potatoes. I'm very curious, MB, on just how many... So I worked it all out, and I think we've planted about 72 pounds of seed potatoes. I have no concept of how many potatoes that will actually grow. Do you? I have no idea. We just kept planting. We just kept looking at it and going, that looks about like what we need to save. And so we hung on to them, and then we planted them, and we kept going.
Next year, we're going to weigh them and come up with a better number that we need to put away and eat everything else.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we are glad that we saved them because
we did ditch a few because there was too many. We couldn't put them all in the ground. Some of them were actually that we stored in the basement are actually still edible, which is nice because I'm going to just eat them because it was silly to have saved that many.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I couldn't let them all go to the waste, so we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I would say you probably from each seed potato, you probably get, 4 or 5 pounds of tomatoes? 4 pounds?
It depends.
3 pounds? I know it depends
on the potato variety because some of ours don't get as big.
Some of them are fingerlings and some are... so they got 35 pounds from 5 pounds of potatoes.
Well, there you go. So we planted 15 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes.
Yeah.
So what's the math on that?
35 times 3, so that's 105.
Be curious.
Just from the Yukon Golds.
If it happens.
And we doubled that for the russets. So it was 30. We did 6 instead of 3. So anyways, we're anticipating a whole lot of thingies, so... Sorry, go back up because I didn't see all of Bettina's comment there about her...
That's pretty cool that they were able to do that. That's the
Yeah.
hard part about, like, for doing it for ourselves, it's not so bad. It's if you were trying to process all of it that it gets
I would have to, if I was actually going to work on trying to do stuff to sell, I'd have to upgrade, and I mean that costs money, but to actually get the equipment to do it on a faster scale, I'd need equipment to do the carding and the spinning, because you can't do it all. But that's okay.
It sounds like I have heard that about sweet cherries getting a lot more problems than some of the sour cherries and whatnot.
I'm just gonna go get my charger from
Yep,
upstairs.
so it doesn't die on us.
Yeah, well, it'll just
But,
cut out in the middle of a chat or something.
That sounds like a lot of things that your cherry tree is having to deal with. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's kind of one of those things you never know. Sometimes it's worth just letting it run its course and see what happens. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Bland's Promised Land Ranch. We definitely appreciate it. I don't know, it's always fun. We kind of just usually don't really have a topic. It just kind of evolves, and everybody usually chats about different things, gardening, livestock, whatever. And yeah, it's always good. It's always good chat. That's the hard part. It's like eventually we have to end it, and usually the chat keeps going. Not that we're ending right this moment, but oh, glad you got back safely, Indiana Backyard Gardener, and your phone's charged and everything again. Technology. Just getting down through the chat here. Yeah, we to be honest, I mean, I know they had quite big legs on them when we planted them, but our basement seems pretty good for potato storage, and those black rough totes seem to work pretty well. So fingers crossed, if we get a pretty good harvest of potatoes, we should be able to store quite a few. And we really scrimped on eating them last year. Like, last year was a propagation year for a lot of those varieties, which is in the long term probably helps us, because at least we were able to keep those varieties. Now you can probably just plug it right into the computer.
I don't know if that'll charge it fast enough.
It's
okay. We can plug it in. Try it and see.
Try it, because I don't think it'll reach otherwise.
You don't want that side?
I do have one on this side. Sorry, it's going to shake for a moment.
Plugging in the
plug
phone.
in the phone.
There. We'll see if it's
plugged in.
There. So hopefully that'll work. So, what Dennis? It was really dark up there, and I didn't want to wake up the kids.
Last year we planted
way too many potatoes.
145 hills is a lot of hills of potatoes.
Yeah. How many pounds of potatoes do you think that made? That's a lot. Although I think we're gonna end up really surprised between that and the sweet potatoes.
Well, the only thing that's kind of nice is
and all the squash.
we did plant quite a few of the russets. We have a lot of, and we do have quite a few of the Yukon Golds, but the other varieties aren't as big. So it's like the Austrian Crescents. Like they don't get massive. So
yeah,
they're kind of a, I don't know.
Well, and
they
we are
won't amount to as much.
We're hoping to kind of pick some as new potatoes too, just to eat over the late summer, because we've kind of always done that where we never have potatoes ready for eating over the summer. So we're still not going to have them ready, but we're going to start eating them early fall and just pull them out as new potatoes, because we definitely have.
What's another thing to eat?
Yeah, exactly. So
the blue ones are interesting.
The blue ones, all blue ones are really neat. They've got quite a dark blue
and they stay quite
inner.
blue on the inside,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. But we like the blue skin variety. We like them too. They're really good, just kind of all around potato. They're not huge, but they're
well, and they've got that really nice crisp white inside. Like when you cook it, it still stays nice and firm. Doesn't get all soft and mushy.
They're quite a firm potato.
which we like about them. They're really nice for leaving the skins on, and I use them for like potato salad. And you boil them, and they don't get all mushy, and then you can slice them up, and you've got the blue skin still in your potato salad. It's kind of neat.
And it's quite blue.
Yeah, it makes it look pretty. What else have we got? Hate squash now. So how much did you freeze? How many bags? You've been definitely shredding squash for a long time. This is my concern about making like no, what's the cabbage stuff?
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut, yes, is the getting it all shredded up.
Well, especially if we don't do it with an actual cabbage head, but
yeah.
Indiana Backyard Gardener's asking how Bucky's doing. I would say he's doing pretty good.
He booted her out of the barn today with the cows running down. He's gotten to the point. Unfortunately, originally the cows were slightly scared of him, I guess you could say. Like Bucky was the big horse, and they moved on really quickly, and he was kind of the herder. And it was great because the cows were moving. Now the cows don't care about Bucky anymore. He's not scary. They're all friends. And so the cows take so long to go down the channel to get to the pasture. And Bucky just wants to go. He just wants to go. And we've always led him because we were worried, him by himself, and he doesn't have the best eyesight anymore or hearing. But we've gone up and down the channel so many times. The last 2 times we've let him and the cows out, I've let him off the lead ahead of time, and he just boots her down there.
And it actually helps with the one cow who takes her time.
So then the other cow goes, oh, Bucky's going to get there first. I better go. So
good night, Crucy. Thank you as always for coming in.
Have a great night.
But yeah, he's doing good,
amazing,
considering.
And he looks amazing. And you're a little worried because he's a little bit dopey. So I kind of was worried he was depressed, but I don't think so because he loves getting attention in the stall. He comes over for treats. He's been really, really spoiled because everybody feels bad for him. So every time somebody walks by, they grab a treat from the bag. So now he's got this expectation every time somebody walks by his stall that someone's going to give him some sort of goodie.
I think he likes coming in the barn too.
Yeah, he really loves being able to come.
We bring him in during the day and put them out at night because it's cooler and there isn't the deer flies and the horse flies and stuff. So they're happier with that, and his feet stay in better shape.
Yes, they do.
So all in all,
he's doing fantastic. So we're really glad because we made the decision we weren't going to get any more horses. And if Bucky didn't get on well with the cows, then we were going to potentially try to rehome him. But he's doing amazing. So he's going to live out his days just as the others in his retirement home. And the kids actually James hopped on him bareback and rode him back from the pasture the other day. And then I took Alex for a ride down the driveway. And
they almost get to interact with him more when it's just the one horse.
He's a lot more personable now that he's by himself than what he was before. Before he was very standoffish. So it's sort of good, sort of not. But all in all, I think he's well.
Well, that's definitely 3 Rubbermaid totes, 2 large coolers, and a box full of potatoes. That's a lot.
Yep, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's the nice part about potatoes. They're very productive, though. But lemon cucumbers.
Everybody's talking about these lemon cucumbers.
I've seen them. We've never tried them before.
Yeah, this is what was in your video there that you had said you guys had been working on Sunday there or whatever. Is it? MB?
34 cups of shredded
maybe it's just our
squash.
Cucumbers, but we've had great success with the straight 8s before. So
yeah, they don't do well every year, but
so 34 cups of shredded squash, Homestead DNA, and you're still not finished the yellow, and you still have zucchini. Oh my, you're going to be eating a lot of zucchini bread. I don't know what else. This is my dilemma, other than making some canned stuff. Now, that's another thing. I don't know if you've considered making some canned stuff. What is the one?
Pressure canned. Because the squash has to be pressure canned, right?
Yes. What's the zucchini one that Italian zucchini stew? I'm not sure if you're into the canning, but if you Google, I'm pretty sure you could Google. If you can't, you can send me an email and I could send you the recipe for Italian zucchini stew. You do have to pressure can it though, so I don't know if you're a pressure canner.
Thank you, Nicole, and Ed, if you're there. And thanks for coming in, guys.
Good to see you guys in here. And now lockdown's almost over, so we'll have to have you out to the farm.
Yes.
Well, I guess it's over, but you know, gotta work your way in slowly to being social again.
Yeah, I've seen the lemon cucumbers before. I've never tried them. We just
No.
we'll have to get a few reviews from people on them and what they think of them
Yeah.
versus sort of normal cucumbers. Like,
Do they actually have like a different flavor, or is it just the color?
it says it tastes just like regular cucumbers, but more orangey but more orange.
Interesting. They make interesting relish, colored relish.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Homestead DNA's pressure canning your beans. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's something we never actually have done. We've
Okay.
kind of always left them dry and then cooked them whenever we wanted them. But
I do want to do a medley though. We're trying to master getting enough things. But sorry, I'm going to go back to Nicole's thing there. So, well, when we get together, we still have lots of bottles of it from last year. So we'll be sure to share. But yeah, definitely have a look for.
Good night, Joe and Sue. I think we didn't say good night to you, but thank you for coming in. And,
Yes.
We'll catch up with you later.
But Homestead DNA, definitely have a look up for Italian zucchini stew, but you do have to pressure can it. So, but
It's pretty good.
it's a really, really delicious one. I take a jar out and we mix it with a pasta sauce for spaghetti or something like that. It's got just, I can't off the top of my head remember everything that's in it, but it is Italian zucchini stew.
It's been a while since we made it.
Yeah, and hey, Chris Dixon, nice to see ya. Thank you for popping in.
Oh yeah,
Any
we
pickled
make the
zucchini
hamburger.
slices. Okay.
You'd probably like that. We kind of don't grow zucchini anymore in favor of the yellow crooked neck squash, just for simplicity.
Yeah.
But then we don't have to worry about them crossing and all that sort of stuff.
So we would love that for coming down to the.
No, that would be awesome. That's yeah. Our red raspberries are just starting. Our black raspberries are kind of
The wild ones. The wild
ones.
black raspberries and red raspberries.
Yeah, the blacks are what, probably like 3/4 done.
No.
Half done.
Half done, maybe. Half done.
And then the blackberries are yet to go. They're always the last one. I'm almost afraid to see how many we're gonna have.
Yeah. Well, and even our patch that wasn't supposed to have any this year
Yeah, surprisingly, the
is loaded. The new
Killarney ones
ones
that we planted, I didn't think they would have had anything, but they actually do have some on them. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens next year on that front. Because they weren't supposed to be an ever-bearing type variety. So we'll see.
Yes, it could be nice. Thank you. I'm sorry, I was just going back to Kathy here. Thank you very much, Kathy, for all your hard work on this one and
Yes,
for posting
for
links
coming
and
in.
being absolutely amazing. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. And thank you for all your wonderful comments all the time on our videos. And yeah, for joining us from Australia.
if you still have 2 seconds, you should put your link up.
Yes,
so that
put your
people
link.
can find you. But if not, we'll. I guess we don't have it open anymore.
I will post a thing in our community tab.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Chris, for doing that. We appreciate it. We're getting pretty close to wrap up time here anyways, but thank you very much for popping in. Oh, Homestead DNA's sent the info to the wife. Good job. If for some reason she can't find the recipe, just send us a note and I will...
We can look it up. We've
yeah.
got it written down somewhere.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, it's in my Simmering Suppers book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. You always did the water bath canning for years, and then when you got the pressure canner, it was like that momentary, I'm kind of speaking for you, but it was that momentary...
Nervous a little bit. And then once you
got
did
going
one,
with
you
it-
went, this is so easy. Why was I so worried about it? Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Now I do very little water bath stuff and mostly pressure canning. I prefer to make full made meals than...
There's certain things.
I'm jams
that
and
are-
jellies and all
Yeah,
that.
I
Is
was going
different.
to say, there's a
but-
lot... Well, in some of the tomato stuff, you do still water bath. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
The things that are...
The pasta sauce and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. So I guess I still do a lot of both.
Yeah.
I was downstairs with Alex today. Or was that yesterday? We got the pasta sauce. It was yesterday. And was doing a quick little eyeball inventory, and I realized that we're getting very low on stuff because I have been terrible at not restocking things. Everything has just gone in the freezer, so we have to do some canning. So
Before
keep watching for that,
because
because
tomatoes from
last year. Yes, I still have
before this year's ones come.
Yeah, I've got about 30 pounds of tomatoes left in the freezer, and then I made a whole bunch of canned tomatoes because that was quick and easy, so that I could make them into something after, and never got around to making them into something.
You don't have to necessarily.
Oh no, but it's just one
longer.
of those, like we were talking. We had pea and ham soup, and I need to make some more pea and ham soup, and I still have the ham and the peas, so I might as well just do it. But
yeah, definitely Red in the Valley. I think we may have talked about this before, but if you are looking into one, Home Hardware had the one that you got.
the Presto canner.
Presto canner. Which,
I think it's a 21.
Which was a good price for it. Now, we haven't checked on them on lately, but that's...
They often go on sale as well, but honestly, it's foolproof. It has the little dial on top, which the old one that I had used has a little knocker. Hate that. Love the dial. It just, yeah. Honestly, it worked so well, and I would recommend it 100 times over. And it is not super expensive.
No,
I think
it was really
wasn't
a good price.
$140? I want to say it was something like that. Anyways, I don't know what it is now. I bought that 4 or 5 years ago now. Probably 4 years ago.
I'm gonna say 5. It's a while ago. So I don't know what the price would be now. We haven't looked it up, but they were a good one. That's pretty crazy. You found you found tomato plants along with blackberry canes that somebody just left on the side of the road.
Bettina, you find all sorts of treasure. Oh my goodness.
That's kind of cool.
This is what I was watching somebody's yard sale that finds video yesterday or something like that.
Northern
Girl Hobbies, yeah. And she found some amazing yard sale deals. And I said, I've got to just start stopping at stuff. Because how many times have we drove by something that's at the end of somebody's driveway and going, do you think that's free? And we just drive by and then come back and it's gone.
A couple.
Yeah, it happens.
To be honest, we haven't come across, there hasn't been any yard sales around that I've seen.
There was that yard sale on the weekend and we didn't stop.
One.
But it was locked down, right? The people weren't doing yard sales. But
True.
Now it's going to be up and running again because everybody's hung on to all their junk.
True.
Yeah.
That's actually also pretty crazy that you tried to blow the pressure canner up and it didn't work. Or it sounds like it didn't work.
I don't think you... it would be hard to... I mean, you're not going to blow the thingy up. I think it's more the jars inside. That's the problem that most people... if you have too high a pressure, you can blow up the jars. I've never... I mean, and I've had it where it's gotten...
You've gone over.
I've gone quite over. And
over the optimal.
The liquid bubbles out of the jars, but as long as you've got it only finger tight and not too tight, I don't think there's ever been a problem with
You haven't had a problem anyway.
No.
But.
No. And I'm kind of just self-teaching myself.
Yeah, I will admit the knocker is... I mean, it works, but it's
a lot
different.
less precise.
Yeah. Than the gauge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's awesome when you can do sort of like you say, the guerrilla recycling.
Yeah.
We've done it in the past. It's just depends what you can find. I mean, it's like our greenhouse with the windows out of it, except for the 2, they were all basically recycled that way.
Sorry, I'm going to jump to this for a minute, but there's no way you're 50. Sorry, it's so hard to gauge people when they're on camera. I find people look so young, and then you hear how old they are, and you're just like, "There's no way, no way." Anyway, sorry, total digression. But I saw that, I'm like, "There's no way MB is 50."
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Anyways, total jumping around.
Well, that's crazy that somebody threw out a whole thing of hostas. We managed to score a few free hostas recently
Yeah.
planted.
That's in my video as well. They're living in a black tote along with all our fiddleheads.
It's the best place for plants to live when
Well,
when in holding.
I'll tell you what, if they were out in the garden, they would not look as amazing as they look in the black totes. Like, I should do a close-up shot to post to the community page tomorrow of the hostas in the black tote with no dirt. They're just dug up root in the tote, and they're doing amazing. It's crazy.
That is crazy. Oh, he is 50.
Really?
Yeah, we wouldn't have.
No.
Wouldn't have
No
guessed.
clue. And Cliffside, no way. Happy birthday as well, just in case. See, this blows my mind.
Yeah.
No way.
I'm terrible at judging people's age anyways, but
This is fascinating. See, the camera does wonderful things. That's what I think. It's the camera, it does.
yeah, but everybody does the same thing when they see themselves. They don't think that.
But don't think that they
But
look
the camera,
young.
yeah, you're always more judgmental of yourself.
Oh, I look way younger on here than I do in person. Like, someone would see me and go, oh my gosh.
I don't think I do. It's because I've got so much gray in my beard.
Maybe. Found so many plants that were tossed away. Yeah, Red in the Valley, I don't know if you follow Bettina, but she's got some great videos of finds that she's made.
Mm-hmm.
You must just live in the right neighborhood for your walks and stuff, because that's pretty impressive.
That's actually funny. Homestead DNA, lower backfield 72. That's funny.
What is the you making homestead?
So now I feel really young
Yeah,
compared to everybody.
well, you might feel it, but
Oh no.
I did
Feel
know
it.
I did know that, Bettina, only because this has been a discussion before, but you honestly do not look it at all, and it's great. Walking is really great for finding stuff.
No, I would agree with that because if you're, well, I only lived in town for a brief while, but yeah, it definitely, when you walk by stuff, it, well, you notice when people put stuff out or whatever too, which is kind of a big thing.
You're only just slightly younger than Homestead DNA. Because Chris just turned 39, so. We're here for making you feel young. Cliffside, that's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
I still can't believe you're 40. That's crazy. It's so funny how it's just, yeah. We're such a close-knit community. Let's just all share our ages. Woo! There we go. That's the real. Oh, he's talking about the 41 on DNA. You're a baby. That one thing that I have to admit, and I'm not meaning this in any rude way whatsoever, but one thing that did surprise me when we got into YouTube, I honestly thought it was something that, no offense, younger people did. Like, I really did.
Well, that's because of all the silly things that are on YouTube.
Well, I guess true. That's true. What our kids watch and things like that is all younger, whatever.
And then it turns out that there's lots of very well-rounded people on
Yes,
YouTube.
exactly. And it was great because it's just, I don't know. I just think it's great seeing people doing stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. That's something I've never actually had a crazy phase. I've always been the same.
Maybe since I've known you. But I'm pretty sure when you were younger, people thought you were crazy at moments. Yeah, you had a frog.
Well, that was not exactly crazy. That was like nerdy.
Nerdy. Okay,
Kermit
there we go.
the Frog.
Chris was a nerd. He wasn't crazy, but he was a nerd.
Yep. I'm still a nerd.
Yeah, you are kind of. Oh, but you're my nerd.
Oh, there you go. You get all this.
I get all that and a bag of chips. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that is funny.
It's PewDiePie. Well, the biggest child is on YouTube. PewDiePie. Yeah, that's true, Homestead DNA. Very true. Well, we hope to kind of just stick with it and be here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun. I mean, even if, you have times where things change. I mean, we were just watching another fellow Canadian's channel, and he was talking about big changes in his life and what was the, would he keep going with YouTube? And I don't know if anybody follows Rem's Family Farm, but anyways, it is one of those things that I think even big changes, you still should stick with it because people are following you and encouraging you, and they want to know your story.
Mm-hmm.
So even when changes occur, even if it changes the trajectory of your channel, I think it's still great to keep going and keeping with people.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
So I do hope that he stays with it.
Documentation.
Yeah.
Right? Change doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just sometimes change, when it's forced upon you, doesn't feel like it's going to be a good thing. But it ends up being a good thing in the long run.
We won't tell his story for him. You can go watch his latest video, but definitely had a few bumps there. So hopefully he sticks with it. Oh, but Red in the Valley, they're talking about being able to guide them not to go that way in life. But I don't know if you ever can. I mean, my parents always were like, oh, they were wild and you don't want to do that. And then, of course, you've got to do it. And then learn from your mistakes. And
I never did that.
wow, you were a weird child. Or weird young adult.
There you go. I like Bettina's comment about how her kids always used to be YouTubers, and then she said she is. We feel the same way with our kids.
It's terrible because we're total hypocrites. Total hypocrites. And I'm not saying because some of the stuff the kids watch is just garbage. So we're constantly like, are you monitoring your tablet time? Self-regulation and all these things. And then here we are just like, YouTube, I gotta check my phone and all this. So we're total hypocrites. And it makes it so hard to teach them not to do it. But the dilemma for us is that they haven't gotten into something that we feel is of any value yet. Like if they were watching how to paint videos or things like that, that would be very different than watching how to Minecraft. Well, even how to Minecraft isn't so bad as watching somebody else Minecraft and tell you junk.
Yeah, I don't quite get that. But that's a whole different thing.
They're a different generation.
Yeah. I agree with Homestead DNA, though. That
whoa, cat.
Cat on keyboard. Didn't affect you guys because you're on the phone.
Just affected our keyboard view here.
Yeah, I do agree that I think that's why we started, was just to keep track of it. Mm-hmm. And then it's evolved into something a lot more than that, which is pretty cool, I think. That's my opinion.
Exactly, Homestead DNA. I think that's great. It is, and you build like such an amazing community of people. You probably were just talking about that, and I was watching the cat.
The cat's getting into
I was
trouble.
like, do I have to get the cat? Because she's about to get into trouble.
Well, that's good though, Red in the Valley. It's that's the really positive. I know I'm terrible with the words right now, but like you say, it's good that you're where you are with things now, and that's good.
Yes.
Very good.
Oh, exactly. And it's really nice to have that feeling of even though you're not actually like, we haven't actually met everyone, and one day we will meet a lot of people and a lot of you, and we're looking forward to that. But it's amazing how we say this all the time, how much we've built relationships with people and how tight this community is, and how, you know, you do feel more at home sometimes with them than with others. It just is, it is what it is. But I think it's interesting, your comment there about the, you know, we'll share it with you one day in person. So it's fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is kind of in line with some of the topic of life and stuff, but I think that's the one thing that's really cool about the YouTube stuff is meeting so many, it's like everybody in here is not the same, not exactly identical, whatever, but there's a lot of like-mindedness there, which is pretty cool because it's something something I dwell on all the time, why we have so many chickens and save seeds the way we do and this, that, and whatever, is because we can never seem to get anybody else to do it, with the exception of a few exceptions. But it's like this has opened up a whole new world of
Like-minded people.
Like-minded people, and sharing with them and learning from them, and I don't know.
Big world becomes small world.
Yeah, and takes a little bit of the craziness out of it.
Yeah.
Some of the bad craziness out of it.
Well, and sometimes it's nice not having to explain yourself.
Well, also true.
Have that constant that constant questioning of, why do you bother? Why are you doing this? Why are you... It's a constant question that comes time and time again.
Well, that's something actually, I think, when people see all the stuff, it's like we just kind of, for the most part, film stuff that we're doing, and we're all over the map. And it's like, then people kind of realize, oh, wow, you actually did do a whole lot of stuff. As opposed to just, what have you been up to lately? Farming, gardening. It's like, there's a lot. It doesn't sound very impressive.
Yeah.
But, good night, Indiana Backyard Gardener. I think we're probably, it's 11:30 or 11:29, so we may do the same here. But
thank you so much for popping on a playlist. It's very much appreciated. I do think we're so close.
It's exciting.
Whether it comes today, tomorrow, the next day, it doesn't really matter. We didn't, that's not the reason that we were doing it. It's just one of those exciting things that we're so close. You get wrapped up in it, I suppose, right? But anyways, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's a good quote.
Yes, excellent. Do not look back. You're not going that way. Fantastic.
I'd say the only reason to look back is to
learn
and remind yourself of things you've learned. And that works on many levels. But it doesn't really get you anywhere dwelling on it.
$52 cups of freaking yellow squash. Oh my goodness.
That's awesome though at the same time.
You are going, yeah.
It's
although not if you've got to do the manual labor, I suppose.
Well, but it's awesome to have it. It's like everything though. It takes a bit of time, and then then you've got 52 cups of squash, which is 52 cups of food, which is like the whole point of everything.
Yeah.
And then you still have all the other squash to come after that.
Yes. I love the winter squash because you don't have that pressure to do something with it right away.
Yeah, that is one thing.
Yeah. The summer squash all comes and you've got to do something with it. But, yeah. Another one that is quite good is, what we use some of it for. We do the crooked neck or zucchini type squash, and we do peppers and carrots and onions and all that, and we do like them in the roaster as a roasted vegetable, kind of like ratatouille, and then bag that to use later on.
I like Red in the Valley's comment, dwelling doesn't help. Live, learn, and move on.
Yeah.
And grow garden.
Yeah.
Grow a garden or grow animals or both.
Well, it depends on what you've learned, whether you should choose animals or not.
Well, I
But
think I've learned a lot
yes.
and come to a lot of realizations. The big realization is you can't do everything. You can't do everything well. But gardening's a bit more forgiving. You can do a lot more variety. It's different.
Yes, if you are set up and ready. Plunging in thinking you're going to be set up and ready doesn't always work.
No, that is true.
So it still is planning.
Nanticoke squash. Is that one of the old varieties of squash that looks like an egg? I've heard of that before, but I can't think of what it looks like.
Fritters with it sounds like an awesome idea.
Yeah, actually that does.
But gardening is good therapy.
But
Chickens. Yeah. Chicken math.
Oh yeah, but it's not just chickens. You're getting that with cows. You're like, oh, I got my cow. I'm just gonna do cows. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's more of a fact of the cows are so easy.
The only thing I would say is not addictive is the sheep.
No, the sheep are not.
The sheep,
they're loud.
you get to a point and it's
then
like,
you're just like, that's it. We're cut off at this point.
But they taste
The
so
rabbits probably are that same way. The rabbits are like chicken math. They just multiply and multiply, and you hang on to another one, and you hang on to another one because they're good and they're whatever, and it just explodes. We've definitely found that.
We can if you let
And
it.
we need to check it a little bit, so I've got to make some hard decisions on that stuff. But
3 goats and now 29.
Yep.
Yeah, goats do the same thing. They multiply pretty quick in the grand scheme
Well,
of
we
things.
had close to we had 24,
Mhm.
so that was a lot. I need to learn moderation.
We're getting better at that.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot better at that. The older we get, the better we get at it because we're just like, what do we need to feed ourselves and what do we need to keep it going?
Yeah.
Those are kind of the $2 million questions, and then figuring out the math on that is always interesting because it's never the same depending on what it is you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, a very old. I knew it was an older type, so that's. I'll have to look that one up.
Looks like a turban.
I'll have to look that one up. I'll look it up after.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of it, but I just. Yeah, there's another one. I know there's another one that it looks like an egg, and I think it still grows wild in some areas, but I can't remember exactly what it's called. The goats were nice. It's just there was a variety of.
And they were
factors.
personable.
Mhm.
I mean, the sheep, for the most part, I mean, take Annie out of the equation. They're not I mean, I can pet them all and they whatever, but really they just want food or they want to be let out. They're not personable, like come to see you for attention.
Mhm.
Just Annie and Tony do.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got them almost all. I can touch, like if I stood in the pen, I can almost touch pet all the babies. Especially if they're eating, I can pet them all. Which is more than I can say for the adults. I can't pet them all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can put my hand out and they'll come to see if I have a treat.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Then they'll realize you don't have
Oh,
it. And,
cat.
Surprise cat bomb.
Oh.
That's funny. The cashing in some goats for cows. It's kind of what we did in a way.
Yeah, we sold the goats to get cows.
To get the cows, but the big thing for us was the fencing because on the property we can fence it for cows and they can use it. The goats, it was really hard to fence it and keep the predators out because they had to be so far away from the house.
Well, and the other thing for us was that with the dairy goat breed that you had,
you had to have a lot of them.
To buy a buck was $750. I can buy a cow our cows were not $750. Like that's crazy for one goat. But
that's a whole nother thing about doing it for the right reasons. I won't get into that right now. I could, but I don't think I will open that can of worms.
No, it's not.
But I haven't got a cow yet because there'll be more than one. Yeah, no, exactly. It's a slippery slope.
Yes, but they're cute. And once you're set up, it actually is really easy. I find them really easy now. After fixing the channel and getting the fencing all, so we didn't have to worry about them. They go straight down like they're supposed to, and no issues.
Once they figured out.
Yeah. Just have to stick to routine. Hey, doing redneck things. How you doing? Thanks for popping in.
I looked
fainting goats.
I looked into them. Yeah, the myotonic fainting goats. I looked into them years ago. I had the goats for a while. So
it's too bad that the baby goats grow up, right? Homestead DNA. They're always so cute. It's like the lambs. They're so cute, and then they grow up.
Yep. And they become a sheep. I'm making it sound terrible, but it's not really. But they just have their moments.
Yes. Thank you very much, MB. It's something I so want to get back into with the art. I've kept everything. I still want to do it. After that live I did, we sat down and I said, I've got to make time for doing this again. But it's just one of those things. The farm is in that stage of getting built up and doing things, and so much to happen that that sort of stuff kind of goes on the back burner. But do plan to get back into it. I'm very big on the wildlife art. I dabbled in a bit of abstract type stuff, especially when I was in fine arts at university. But the Robert Bateman style wildlife art is my thing. So that's what I go for.
You're good at it.
Thank you.
No, that definitely makes sense with the cows. It's when you don't have quota for dairy, you don't need a lot of them, unless they can give you beef as well. But yeah, Bettina, that was, I don't know. One thing that, this is my personal opinion, and I won't go too far down this road, but I think all too often when in this kind of greater homesteading, growing your own food, keeping livestock, whatever, rarity gets labeled as automatically being more expensive than it should be. And I get it to a point, but that doesn't help the thing that is rare at all. That just puts a little bit of extra money in a few people's pocketbooks. But
we see this all the time.
And that's, yeah, it's not helping the goats, for example, in my opinion. You need the opposite. If they aren't something that works on a commercial scale, like Holstein cattle, for example, then they only exist if people keep them in a small scale and use them for the purpose that they were developed for. And as soon as you kind of lose sight of that, that's where it goes. Sound real negative, but
no, but it's
that
true.
was another reason why we switched to the to the cows, but without going too far off on that.
Bettina loves sheep. Well, we'll send you some. When they really start to annoy us, we'll send them your way. That'll change your opinion right away.
They're just loud.
No, yeah, they're loud. They're really cute, though. They do have that cute face on them, and they sucker you in every time. We go in and we're like, okay, getting rid of them. Ah! And then they go and, yeah, either taste good or produce something that you're using, and yeah.
The goats is kind of it's like a 50-50. We do miss certain aspects
We miss
of
the
it.
milk.
Well, yeah, and they were personable.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was kind of an all or nothing. Either keep with it and all the other stuff that comes along with it, or just make the switch. So we'll see how the cows work out. There are days when we potentially regret the decision, or partially regret the decision, but then there's other days where we don't. So I think that's when you get into these bigger, longer term goals and projects, that's where it gets hard, because you can't do them all.
No, it is hard.
Yeah.
But I wanted to pick MB's brain on, because I know you do sell your art online and you do fantastic work. And do you find it worthwhile? This is something I've hummed and hawed on back and forth about trying to figure out selling it online rather than trying to get back into the doing studio tours or this, that, or the other. I have an Etsy store, but I don't know if Etsy's really the right place to sell art. I mean, I see people on there and you're just competing with people that are selling something that is really good for like next to nothing, and then it's hardly even worth doing it. Because I mean, it is time consuming. Like one of my owl picture that I showed last live there or whatever. I mean, that was months of work. And then, yeah, you've got a beautiful finished product, but if somebody down the road is selling it for a lot less, anyways, it's one of those things. I'm not exactly sure how to build up and promote myself and do it, but I do want to look into it. And again, it just comes down to
We'll
time.
figure it out.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah, I don't think it's kind of funny because I think sometimes people look at what we have and they do think it's a menagerie and a whole lot of animals are kind of like you say, like a Noah's Ark or whatever similar scenario you want, a zoo, petting zoo, whatever. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't really do it.
No.
It's like, we have one kind of chicken and kind of, for the most part, have always had one kind of chicken because that chicken does what we want it to do. There's always that temptation to get something different, but it just ends up being a management nightmare for us. The way we do things, I guess.
Well, because it's not as easy as just having one in.
Well, yeah, usually not. unless you cross them, and then as soon as you cross them, it's not that crossing is bad, but unless you're willing to do quite a bit of selection, you could be losing the qualities if they're quite different from each other.
Yeah.
That being said, if you're just going to eat them, we've talked about this with the cows, potentially doing that, but I know what happens. You'll end up with a female calf that's a crossbreed between the two breeds we have, and then be like, oh, she'll be the best one, and then, yeah, anyways.
Yeah, the temptation, right? She'd like some packages from those sheep. That can be arranged eventually. Sorry. We have talked about doing the little kind of veggie stand / you could sell some crafts and things in it at the same time at the end of the lane. The way our lane's kind of set up, you could just kind of, I don't know. I'd have to do a video on it one day to explain it better. But there's a nice little spot where you could set up a little, stand that has a porch on it and stuff like that. And you could have a few things and a freezer in there and stuff.
Up to a 10 by 10 building.
But I did the studio at our old place before we moved here. I had the art studio as well as I did picture framing. And it felt like such a waste of time sometimes to be there when nobody was coming, or somebody's coming and then you're constantly waiting for them and that sort of thing. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We do a lot more stuff here that I think you could also be selling that would cause regular business, and we're on a lot better road than what we were at the other place for having kind of a steady stream of traffic between towns and things. So it definitely is a possibility that we've kind of been dabbling with and looking into. It's just one of those, I prefer to do things online, and then it's just like I can be sleeping and sell something. It's wonderful to wake up and be like, oh, I sold something, but I just don't know if the art is the best way to, if Etsy's the best way. I still use Etsy for, I'm going into Cliffside's comment here, but I still use Etsy for the craft stuff. I do agree with what you're saying. I think it is going downhill. It's going like any other big company. They want more money from you. You have to do all your banking through them, and they get their percentage from that. They're now charging percentage on shipping, and they want you to do shipping included because those people's listings get bumped to the top. And there's just so many ways that they're pressuring it that it doesn't feel super enjoyable to do it anymore in that aspect. Like you have to put your prices up so much to match what they're taking from you and things like that, and it just seems like, oh gosh, nobody's going to pay that. So it could just be the times, but we're watching that one a little bit because it may not be worth trying to sell on there anymore. I don't know. It might be better to just do local, whatever you call craft sales and things like that now. But I don't know. There's changes going on.
Well, we've talked about the second YouTube channel. Don't know, maybe eventually. And that does make sense when you've got your own website, MB, and you can kind of manage it all yourself. That really probably would be ideal. We don't have those skills, but
with your own website direct payment. That's
yeah.
I think down the line, that's what I would probably go. I would probably still lump it in with my other stuff and just have an arts and then a crafts section. But I mean, I think it is better, especially as we're developing the YouTube stuff, because you're out there and you're promoting yourself on your own. You don't need somebody else to do the work for you. I think it could work. Anyways, that's something we're definitely dabbling in, and I will probably pick your brain at some point on, best ways to do that sort of thing, because I think it's a long time coming, and I think that we should. Chris also paints as well. One day we'll do show and tell with yours.
Mine aren't as good.
It's not that they're not as good. You're a different style than me. You paint in a very different style.
True.
But it's still good. And thank you very much, Red in the Valley, for the wonderful comments. I do appreciate that.
Well, thank you, MB, for some of that information.
Yeah.
And basically, thank you for everybody for the conversation.
Yeah.
See, this is where we're learning stuff.
Yeah.
Squash, and more squash.
Homestead DNA is still doing squash. What close did I say? Not sure.
Oh, they put the money in
okay.
in a tennis ball, and then it rolled down the thing into a lockbox.
Gotcha. Oh, that's kind of a neat idea.
Mm-hmm. It's like
very smart.
It's like basic automation.
That's very smart, because that's what we're gonna start. Look at the cat up in the back corner. She's watching TV. But anyways, we start with like kind of the honor box thing, and then kind of move from there. But
there's cats everywhere.
Yes. Oh, she's. Anyway, getting distracted by the cats. Oh. But squash, and more squash. Oh boy. She's like, it's bath time.
Yep.
Now I'm going to show everybody my skills.
Bathing skills.
Oh. They always are video bombing. That's like, usually outside it's Sylvie.
Mm. Or Tebow.
Yeah, or Tebow.
But inside it's all these kittens.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
But I suppose on that note, we should let all these wonderful people go. We've been jibber-jabbering. How long have we been going here? 2.5 hours. That's going to be awesome for a watch time. Woo! The move she was doing earlier. Is that Ivy? Oh, she's not up there. No, she's over here now. No, it's Cotton. So she's a little coordinated. Yeah. We have the one white cat, Ivy, that we rescued, and she's not coordinated at all, but she goes up behind us there, and she gets moving around a little quicker than she could. And what is that called when you don't have the proper balance from a head injury? She's got like a...
Uncoordinated?
Yeah, well, it's not uncoordinated. I think there's actually something damaged that's caused her to lose balance. She has no depth perception, I think, is what the problem is. So, yeah. But
make it interesting sometimes.
Yeah. But
well, thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Like Cliffside's saying thank you to us, but we should be saying thank you to you guys.
And for all of your support and getting us here. And we're going to keep going. And
it's been excellent chatting.
Vertigo, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty much what she's got.
Yeah. But anyways. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
And hopefully everybody has a great rest of the week. And hopefully, I mean, gardening doesn't end this time of year, but hopefully people are going to kind of get to that little bit of
the plateau where it kind of gets settled for a little bit before you
planted.
Then start harvesting and canning. And well, except for Homestead DNA, who's going crazy with squash right now. But hopefully everybody else gets that nice little plateau right now. And then, hit the next wave of things to do. But at least that's what we're dreaming about here. I am not thinking it's actually coming, but...
Ours is going to be piglets.
Yeah, the
Nothing to
piglets.
discard, and it's
Watch for
gonna be-
piglet videos. They're coming
Sooner or
within
later.
the next week or two. Baby piglets.
Or they should be coming.
If they don't come, we're in big trouble because they both look about to blow. So, but yes.
Plateau. Well, it doesn't sound like you had one.
No, you're just gonna keep climbing. You're
But
just
that's
climbing.
also a good problem to have.
Yes.
Is not having the plateau.
Have a good night, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Hello, honey badgers too. Have a good night. Didn't realize you were still here. That's awesome. But
And we will
see everybody next time.
Yes, I think we will try to make sure we.
We're gonna
next
get
week.
yes as we plateau. We're going to get back in the groove of every thingy. Anyways, we are actually leaving, so I gotta figure out how to shut it off on my phone though.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that.
No, I don't know either. We'll figure it out though. Have a good night.
Is it the X button?
Well, we could try that one.
The X.
Hit the X. Should we see? Let me just see what this one does.
No, I think it's the X.
No, we're gonna try hitting the X. Oop. Do I want to stop streaming? Yes. We figured it out. Have a good night.